game one, but let's go ahead and dive into it. We have a lot to talk about today, by the way. A new interview with John Schneider on 3 and Out got us more insight into the hiring of Mike McDonald and the decision to draft Jalen Milroe. We're going to talk about that at 10:30. Some Milroe stuff at 10:45. Rowland-Smith joining us at 11. Some fun stuff ahead of Game 6 for the NBA Finals coming up in the timeline. But before we get to any of it, bump yesterday, not what we wanted to see. I didn't personally see it. I was not aware or awake for a long while.
I had loopy.
I had minor surgery yesterday, and I'm totally fine. But when I came out, I haven't been under anesthesia. It was what they call like conscious sedation. So I was worried I'd be awake, but it felt just like anesthesia. But I haven't been actually put under for years.
Whoa. Yeah. Explain that. Conscious
sedation is what they called it.
You were awake.
So you got one eye open the whole time?
Yeah, I guess. Basically, they give you the smallest dose possible to where you're technically conscious. I don't remember anything.
Well, that's like giving you 2 shots. You're so little. 2 shots and you're stumbling across the yard.
They were like, so we're going to go ahead and give you conscious sedation. Here's some Fireball.
Some Everclear.
Go ahead and take one, maybe 2, maybe 3 of those, and we'll wake you up in a couple hours. But yeah, so I don't remember the start of this Mariners game. I put it on. I couldn't tell you what happened, but I read about it later once I started feeling right, and it sure didn't sound great. What'd you see in this?
No, it wasn't great. I mean, look, Castillo gave up 2 bombs, but at the end of the day, he went through 6 and had a quality start, right? Gave you 3 runs there. It's the same old story. It feels like we're getting back to the old Mariners, which is fun in some ways, and in other ways it's frustrating because it's fun. Because you're looking at the arms and saying, all right, I see you, Castillo. Go 6, give up 3. You gave us a chance. I see you, Kirby. I see you, Walter. I see you, Woo. You're feeling good about this rotation right now. So that is the old Mariners. But then the old Mariners also show up at times with only scoring 1 run, with only having, we had, 6 hits. You had more hits than the Red Sox and still weren't able to pull this thing off. Looking at runners in scoring position, guess what? 0 for 5. We've seen that before. So it is encouraging when it comes to the arms, because you see them heating up. It's up and down with the bats because you put up 8 runs one day, you put up 1. I mean, what? How many runs you scored this whole series, Curtis? How many they put up? 8, 1, 9? 9 runs this whole series.
They outscored the Red Sox 9-5 in the series.
9-5, and you lost this thing.
You lost 2-1.
But here's the thing, too, is look, yesterday Riz told me a quote, and I said, you know what? I have to live by that for the rest of the season. He said, trust the length of the season. He got it from a guy named, I think, Elliot McLendon.
Lloyd McClendon.
Oh, did I jack that name
said
up?
Elliot McClendon.
Lloyd McClendon? Oh, my God.
You didn't hear him right the first time.
No,
so
I wrote it down. I just tried to go off the dome. I wrote it down. I had to go off the dome.
Lloyd McClendon. You just misheard it.
I just,
Oh, my God.
Elliot,
no,
2 L's like Lloyd.
Now I'm going to start calling Lloyd McClendon Elliot McLendon.
Okay. McLendon sounds good, though. But, yeah, so I'm going to go with that because they were still 4-2 during this homestand. You got that sweep, then you won 1 game here, and now you go on a 9-game road trip. So I'm hoping that the positives follow them and the negatives stay here. But losing this one was disappointing. But also, you went against Crochet. Crochet's a good. I mean, come on, you got him last time in Boston, I believe. You didn't get him this time. It's the difference between going up against great pitching and mediocre pitching. The other day, they went up against mediocre pitching, and you got it done. Yesterday, you go up against Crochet, a good pitcher, and you struggled a bit. So let's try to even some things out.
The 206 texting in exactly what I was thinking yesterday, though. As I was reading this recap, I was remembering that interview that we'd played 2 days prior from Jerry DiPoto's interview with MLB Network when he said this.
You know, we've had really 2 extreme portions of our season. For about 6 weeks, we were really scoring runs like we've not before, at least in my time with the Mariners. And we were up and down 1 through 9 in the lineup, really productive. But historically, we rely on our pitching, and that's who we are. I think that's our personality. Our identity is pick up the ground balls, be accurate with our throws, don't make mistakes that beat you, and your pitching drowns your opponent. And, you know, tonight starts that over with Logan back in the mix, and hopefully we are on track to start doing the things that we do. You know, the atypical part of our season so far has been that we've not been driven by our pitching. So I think as we get into this stretch between, today and the trade deadline, it's establishing what we do as a pitching staff, being a little more Mariner-like in what we're doing there. And I think our offense has really improved.
If you look at a few numbers, you can see, I don't want to say like improvement for the offense, but you could make the case that it's not wholly as bad as we talk about it being. But that doesn't mean it feels right in practice, right? You could look at your runs scored argument where it's like, yeah, you technically outperformed the Red Sox in some for the series offensively. It didn't feel like that, though. And you don't have the series win.
Yeah.
So that feels very frustrating. I think that I just kept thinking, Jerry's right in that pitching is the identity of this team. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the team having an identity and a strength, and every night you go out, you feel like you have the advantage on the mound. But unfortunately, last year we learned that wasn't enough. So what now? You know what I mean? If it's like, hey, our identity's getting back to this. Well, that was your identity last year. In these two games where it felt like your offense just couldn't do enough to complement a really good pitching performance, that's not a World Series team. So what do you do now?
What do? You hope that Cole Young is turning a corner. He had himself a decent day the other day. You hope that Williamson finds his groove. You hope that JP continue to get on base. You hope Cal Raleigh continues to have one of the greatest seasons we've seen as a catcher. And you hope that Julio Rodriguez hits for more power. He has not had a bomb in, 20 games or something at this point. Side note, my producer, Nasser Chobe, hit me up. Elliot McLondon, I'm dead. He's laughing at me right now.
Died.
But what can you do at this point? Because you're looking around the league and you're trying to figure out who are going to be sellers. And at this point, so many teams still believe that they are in the mix. So you feel like once you get to the trade deadline, there's not going to be a big bat out there for you. You can probably find a bat. You'll probably find a Mariners bat. You know what a Mariners bat is? An older gentleman who hits for contact and is a great leader. And he's really going to help these guys in the dugout. I'm tired of that guy. Love that guy. He has a place in this league. Turner is still in the league. Solano, Donnie Barrows is that guy for us this year. That's probably the guy that you're going to get. So what do? You hope that these bats develop and that your stars continue to play like stars, or one of your stars takes the next step, and we're talking about Julio Rodriguez.
I blame the Mariners for my ulcer. I blame them. Do the Mariners need an impact bat, like power, or do they just need something? Like, how far behind is this offense from, if the pitching holds with their improvements, making this a playoff team? Because I don't know that you're going to find a wholly impactful bat at the deadline. Could you add somebody who is just enough? Like, what level of improvement makes you feel more comfortable with this offense? Open to the text line, too, 866-979-3776.
I just need Julio to hit for power. I need Randy to hit for power.
So more it's like someone to complement the pieces you have.
Like, look, the best version of Randy, the best version of Julio, combined with what we're seeing from Cal and from JP, you look at those four, and you're thinking, yeah, this is a playoff team. But because you're not getting the best from these guys, you're out there wondering. You're wondering if you even do add a decent bat, is that going to be enough? No, it's not going to be enough. A decent bat ain't going to be enough. What you need is for the guys you are paying to lead this team to do exactly that. That's what they're banking on. Someone says, Bump, hope is not a strategy. Yeah, it is. You better hope Julio plays better. You ain't trading him.
Yeah.
You better hope Randy plays better. You ain't trading him. Yeah, hope is part of your strategy.
Yeah.
Now, you got to go out and get better as well, but how much better are you going to get? Are you going to get a bat that's better than Julio at his best and better than Randy at his best? No, you're not. So go ahead and get your Solano. Go ahead and get your Turner, all right, and hope that the guys you are paying step their game up.
I actually really like that argument because I don't think it's you're not looking at Miles Mastrobuoni or someone and hoping he becomes Aaron Judge. You're hoping that the players you have can be more impactful. Like, you're hoping that they can start performing the way that you know they're perfectly capable of, that every game can look a little bit more like Tuesday's game as opposed to Wednesday's game, right? I just am letting myself wonder if an answer, like a real answer, could be there at the deadline. And preferably before then, preferably an addition in late June, right? Maybe you don't have to wait until July. I sure hope they don't. I don't know that this team can prove to Jerry Dipoto over 6 weeks that they're a World Series contender, but I think that if you add someone, they can start to take important steps forward. You got to start making up that deficit against Houston. What is it, Curtis? 5 games? Bump, 5 games?
5 games.
5 games. You got to start chipping away, man. You cannot wait until July to figure out what you've got here.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. And frankly, you owe your fan base and this team a lot more. This team owes it to themselves because part of this is also a performance thing, right? Part of it's also on them. But the front office owes it to themselves and the club that they've built and worked so hard to build. And they owe it to fans who have waited far too long to see success.
Yeah, you owe it. You owe it. And the players owe it. The management owes it. But at some point, their hands are going to be tied because it's not like,
Well, they're not taking on a huge salary.
Yeah, we know what their philosophy is, right? You're not going to take on a huge salary. You're not going to take a big swing. You are legit hoping that your players perform to the level that you want them to. Oh, let's not forget Polanco. What if Polanco just plays a little more better than what he's playing right now? So that's the part is that I look at this roster a bit differently now because of what I've seen this season. Polanco, you showed me you can do it. Get your butt out there and do it. Julio, you showed me the pass that you can do it. That's how they're looking at this lineup as well. They're looking at 1 through 5 and saying, if they just do what they've done before at one time, then we have a chance. And that's the way we have to look at it.
Yeah.
Because listen, Seattle, no one's going to come flying in here with a cape and save the day. All right, that guy is not out there. Even if you go ahead and get O'Hearn, he's not going to come in and save the day. He can come in and ball out. But if 1 through 5 does not do what they are paid to do, and you still got that pitching over there, you don't really stand a chance. Maybe you sneak in. Who knows? You're going to need some stuff to happen around you. But that's the thing. You want to control your own destiny. You don't want to just sit there and watch other homes burn down and pray that the wind doesn't blow the fire to your home and you get out of there safely. You control your own destiny with your performance. So, yes, hope has to be part of your strategy while you go out there and get a decent bat and someone for the bullpen, please.
Excellent points. The 360, nobody owes anything. It's a business. I disagree. I think now we're getting into a slightly different conversation, but that's okay. Why not? Let's go on to another, off the rails and on to another one here. What's the relationship between a sports team and its fans? I know that what this person's probably implying is that the Mariners are only run like a business and they only care about profit and blah, blah, blah. But I think that there is something owed by a sports team to fans. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I think it's different. It is a business. You're right. It is a business. They do care about profit. That's real. You can't blame them for that. However, I think there is something owed.
It's like whenever some of this, sometimes when I see people and they're getting at police officers, I pay your salary, right? And it sounds obnoxious, but in a way they do. Protect and serve the community, right? In a way, you owe that to them because they are paying your salary. How you do it is up to you. That's a different issue. You go into the FM side for that, all right? So with fans, they're literally putting butts in the seats to help pay the salary, to help keep this organization going. So there has to be some type of ownership that you do owe them the effort, right? Results are totally different, right? Every team goes out every year. You want to win a championship.
And one does.
Right? And one does. In all 4 major sports, one team does that. Big ups to the Panthers for doing it the other day. OKC going to do it tonight. Sorry, Seattle. All right?
How dare you?
So,
no.
The effort. You have to put the effort. You owe them the effort of trying to put together a championship team. And that's what I think we're saying when you say you owe them something. Yeah, you owe them that. Owe them the effort. Show them that you care and that you are really trying to win and not just be profitable.
Exactly how I feel about it. I just think that, like, I don't even know that I always felt this way. I think I used to be like, well, probably more like this listener where it'd be like, well, it's a business. What are you going to do about it? But now I've gotten more into this kind of, it's a complex relationship. It's frankly, businesses owe people certain things too, right? Like they buy your product, but you owe them safety and fair marketing, and like there is a level of things just from like a moral standpoint that businesses owe people anyway, even if you're just thinking about it from a business point of view. But Bump, you're right. You talk about that relationship between a fandom and its team. The Mariners fans have been incredibly loyal fans through unprecedented failure. And I'm not talking about losing 100 games a season. I just mean you've got one playoff appearance since 2001. 2001? 2001. The board op right now for us, Brady, was what, 3 years old? Don't tell me. Don't answer the question, Brady. I'm going to say you were 3.
Well, you are correct. I was 3 years old.
I mean, that's insane. That's insane. I was a kid, a child. I don't remember 95. I was a kid in 2001, and my friends that are diehard Mariners fans, 2 friends in particular I'm thinking of, one is married with kids. Like, we're old heads now. Like, you owe fans more. And not all of that falls on Jerry. Not all of it falls on this version of the front office. But at a certain point, you just kind of assume that responsibility. It's what I liked about Justin Hollander's interview with, God, I'm blanking on the podcast. I want to give them credit. It was.
The one you sent to us?
I will circle back to it.
The one you sent to us?
Yeah, Starkville podcast. Yes, the one I sent. What I did appreciate was him saying, yeah, you kind of assume that. You take that on. And you can think, oh, I wouldn't have made that move, or I like that move from a previous front office. But ultimately, you own what that team is right now.
Can we also say this? Look, right? We are paid every day to come in here and give instant reactions to what we saw, right? And yesterday, what we saw did not look like a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
The day before, what we saw looked like a playoff team. Game before that didn't look like a playoff team. 3 games before that looked like a playoff team, right? Our job is to react, and that's the reality of it, and we feel like there isn't enough with this team as of now. There's still a half a game out the wild card spot, right? There's still half a game out. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but that's also the reality of the situation. Yeah, we got to call them out and point out deficiencies and all that stuff, and we're going to do that, especially off of a performance like yesterday where you wasted a quality start from Castillo, had more hits than Boston, still couldn't win that game. End of the day is 4-2 at home, this homestand, way better than the last time when they were at home. And they're half a game out the wild card.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me going. So with all the negative, yes, we're going to do that. But let's remind the people, you're a half game out. And if you do well on this road trip, we could feel totally different about this team.
Let's end right now on that note. We'll get back to the Mariners 11 with Ryan Rowland-Smith. Right now, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bubba and Stacy.
Headline number 1, the Lakers are being sold to Dodgers owner Mark Walter at a valuation of $10 billion. What's the real headline?
That's more per championship than the Celtics.
Hey, you just know.
It's crazy.
You just know who got the most viable franchise, all right? Boston, you got a championship on us.
Hang the banner.
Hang a banner.
Hang a banner.
Goes right next to your NBA in-season tournament.
And make it with real
You know
gold.
what? If I didn't love you guys in Seattle so much, okay, I would come for you right now. But I get it. All right, we're hurting over here, and I'm glad Walter picked up the team. What he's done with the Dodgers have been great. Now it's a different ball game. No salary cap in MLB. You've been to the playoffs 14 times or 12 times, 4 World Series, 1, 2, and I think it just changes the mentality of the Lakers, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the Buss family, they made some big moves, but Walter has shown that he's not afraid to really go after some cats. And with Luka being there, LeBron being there for a year or two, who knows, Austin Reeves, there's a foundation. And you just got to go out and get it now. So big ups to the new majority owner, and I'm glad Jeannie Buss is still around calling some shots.
There are some fair questions about what all of this means for a Seattle expansion team. Kevin Pelton, NBA ESPN reporter, is going to be joining us at noon to talk about it. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, it is a do-or-die Game 6 for the Indiana Pacers tonight against the hated Oklahoma City Thunder. What's the real headline?
Now listen to me. The Mariners didn't purposely lose this series against the Red Sox so that OKC could win tonight. We paid our dues as a Seattle.
We did our part.
We did our part. Look, Seattle sports paid our dues, okay? As everyone knows, you have to win one, lose one, whatever. You can't have everything all at once. That's the Seattle rule. So that's why the Mariners, in kindness, purposely lost this series so that the Pacers would win tonight. Book it. That's math. That's sports math.
Yeah, it's over, guys.
I don't know about
It's over. Here's what I do appreciate about OKC is that, like, you don't hear their fan base, their analysts, broadcasters talk about Seattle. You know what I mean? They want to be separate just as much as Seattle wants to be separate. And guys like SVP, excuse me.
SVP, SGA.
SVP.
Elliot McLondon.
FSA, HSA.
We gotta think of a version of Elliot McLondon
Elliot
for Dan
McLondon.
Wilson.
That might be my new alias, honestly.
That's really
Elliot
funny.
McLondon.
That was funny.
But even when he talks about the team, everyone separates the history. So I know it's going to hurt to see these guys win tonight, because I honestly think they're going to. But I think that both sides understand that we are no longer together. Okay, that is an OKC championship, even though it's going to hurt to see a franchise that was ripped from you hang a banner.
What's the Elliot London version of Dan Wilson?
It's McLondon.
Was it McLondon?
Elliot McLondon.
What's the Elliot McLondon version for Dan Wilson, where now that's just what we have to internally call Dan Wilson? It's like when John Travolta did Adele Dazeem.
Oh, Adele
for Idina
Dazeem.
Menzel. It's Adele Dazeem. There's got to be an Adele. I'm going to put into the Adele Dazeem. I know there's like
Winston.
a name generator. Brady, let's go to the next one. We'll circle back. We'll circle back.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders was cited in Ohio for going 101 in a 60-mile-per-hour zone yesterday. What's the real headline?
Not the first time we've seen Shedeur go in the 100s.
Dang. Dang. Now, this is unsafe, okay? You don't do this, Shedeur. Most young men are going to open up their vehicle every now and then. I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not making excuses for him. But are you really surprised that Shedeur went 101 in a 60? Most of these young, rich dudes are going to make that dumb mistake. I made that mistake in a 98 Corolla on the 405 in Cali.
Corolla.
You know, that thing was shaking.
No,
I'm
was
like,
it
what
white?
are you doing? That was a black one.
Okay.
It was shaking. Yeah, it's not a good look. He has to realize that there are obviously other people on the road. He has a lot to lose. These guys, man,
Yeah.
they're adrenaline junkies. This is what they do.
My John Travolta name generator, Travolta5, is Dean Waleson. I feel like that's too close. Dean Waleson?
Who's that?
Dan Wilson.
Dean Wilson.
Dean Waleson.
Oh, I like that.
Really?
I like Dean.
Dean Waleson.
No, let's change the last name, though. I like
Yeah,
It's
Dean.
Dale Watson.
Dale Watson.
Dale
Hey,
Watson.
it's Dale Watson.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
like it.
So we're just Dale Watson out here. He's got to manage this team.
Dale Watson.
Dale Watson did it. The 2025 MLB All-Star Ballot is open. Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote up to 5 times per day, every day through June 26 at MLB.com/vote. A new interview with John Schneider on 3 and Out brings us more insight into the hiring of Mike McDonald and the decision to draft Jalen Milroe. That's all coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Talking about the Mariners' plan for the trade deadline. You think people are reticent to the minor leagues and trade some prospects? I know fans develop a connection to names they hear over and over. Often you don't see these guys. I don't know how many people are making trips out to Everett or out to Tacoma to watch the young guys, but there just aren't any sure things.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
Rare and luxurious 100 years of exceptional automobiles is currently on display at LeMay, America's Car Museum. Feel the thrill of racing simulators. It's excitement for all, and out-of-town visitors will love it. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
We at Three Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. Three Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
It is that time of year. I cannot wait for the weather to get warm like it is now on consecutive days. That means I can break the motorcycle out, ride to work, ride all over the place, and I love it more than just about anything. But I also know that it's not a matter of if, but when you get in an accident, what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you, when you're injured in a motorcycle crash, don't settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who live it. Law Tigers has been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide. They're here 24/7, 365 days a year because writers deserve real support when they need it. Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they are in need. Law Tigers is out at all the events and supporting all clubs and shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. The Law Tigers, you never ride alone. Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Schneider interview dropped. This is on 3 and Out. It's a really wonderful interview. We're going to be focusing on parts about him, his relationship with Mike McDonald, what the hiring process was like, if he ever feels like the bad guy is the GM, and then get into just some Jalen Milroe stuff. I will let you guys know, though, there's a whole first chunk of this interview where he talks about just coming up through scouting and how getting into it was different, like just calling up a GM and being like, can I come, like bring some stuff. Just really interesting stuff about his roots that didn't feel relevant to our conversation today, but a really good listen. So again, that's on 3 and Out on YouTube. First, let's go to John Schneider talking about the offseason, how it went, and when that pivot to moving on from Geno happened.
Yeah, really just preparing for, what that period of time right around the Senior Bowl and the Combine is really like a preparation for, like, what's the landscape going to look like and how quickly can we pivot. So, if things are going a certain way with the negotiation, how do we pivot? So getting everybody on the same page. So relying on Coobs for sure, like the experience he had with Sam, Kevin O'Connell, professional friend of mine. Ryan Grigson is there now too in Minnesota. Rob Brzezinski. Relying on our contacts and like the character, the leader, everybody that's coached him over the years, and then watching his progression and watching him improve.
I got to combine it with one more here, just because it's part of the Geno conversation. Asked why he said they wanted to re-sign Geno.
One of the coolest things that I learned from Ted Thompson, God rest his soul, and Marty Schottenheimer, God rest his soul as well, was that how you treat players. Both those guys were like, nowadays will be your like 53rd player every year, worrying about making the team, really good special teams players. So how you treat, especially somebody that like never had like anywhere near the opportunity to play in the National Football League, how you treat the players with clear honesty and integrity and understanding like what they're truly going through and what the locker room is going to look like. So I think that the experience I had with Ted and Marty really helped me in terms of like, you're not always going to like what you hear, but you're going to hear the truth. And we can disagree on whatever we're discussing, but I'm not going to be sitting here trying to BS you.
So in his mind, part of what they did, and I know that it's been kind of, you can see it as disrespect and not paying Geno to stay here, but in John's mind, it was respectful to be honest and upfront with Geno. This is how we value you. This is where the conversation's going to go. Here's, I guess, how this is going to happen moving forward. We'll be transparent with you. But I could see his point about it being more respectful to just be honest.
Yeah, that's the best way to do business, man. I remember I did a business deal and made a couple promises that I thought I could keep, but I wasn't ultimately sure. I wasn't like, yeah, for sure I can do that.
Wanted to.
I was like, yeah, I think I'll be able to do that. End of the day, I couldn't fulfill the promise. Had to go to my business partner and be like, look, man, we got to back out of this deal. And it hurt a relationship, and 10, 15 years later, I always go back to that situation and tell myself, you just have to be upfront, whether they're going to like what you say or not, whether you want that relationship, but you can't fulfill a promise, just be honest. And I think that's what we saw here. And especially when it comes to player evaluation, man, that's why I'm so glad I have an agent, right? Because I got an agent and he be working for me. Alan, appreciate you, baby. He be working for me. And I'm sure that he's gone to networks and tried to, get me out there that's like, look, I don't like the way he does this. I don't like the way he does that. He comes to me, hey, it's not going to work out, blah, blah, blah. I don't get the raw and uncut.
Yeah.
When you're dealing in this type of situation, he's looking at Geno in his eyes and telling him, look, this is where, you need to improve. This is what we think about you. This is the situation in the NFL. We can go here, go there. Whatever the conversation was, it was raw. And when you are being told about yourself and your deficiencies, I'm sure it can ruffle some feathers. But that's business. End of the day, you want to make sure that everything is clear. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like that's what happened with Geno.
One thing that's really interesting about what John's going through now is that the dynamic has shifted from when he started with Seattle. When he came in with Seattle, Pete brought him on, and the relationship was one of a much older brother. Pete's 20 years older than John, and John was brought on as a GM at like age 38 or 39 or so, really young. Mm-hmm. And now he's in his early 50s, and you have a 36, now 37-year-old that you've brought in, formerly a defensive coordinator, now a head coach. And so he was talking about that dynamic kind of shifting.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the older brother, much like Pete was with me. I don't know if it's pressure because we're every day is you're just stacking to get better every single day. So that hasn't changed, but it's definitely more of a, I could talk to Pete about, like studying Brett, to your point earlier, like, yeah, wow, you got to have patience with quarterbacks. I mean, Brett was like, that was my first exposure to a big time NFL quarterback. Like there was a lot of interceptions,
Yeah.
But, but just I could talk to you about that. And whereas Mike's kind of like, wow, what was Brett Favre like? That sort of stuff. So the experience is different, right? Like we're getting ready to draft Russell Wilson here. He was targeted, and Pete and I are sitting on the phone, talking to, Coach Grant about Fran Tarkenton, like on the phone, like lack of height, great feet, moving around, it's like, it's just different. Pete's 20 years older than me. Mike's 38 and I'm 54. So
I like this conversation because it inadvertently explores a lot of the pros and cons of having a coach on kind of either spectrum of this age gap. Pete was the oldest head coach in the NFL, and then you hired at the time the youngest head coach in the NFL. And him mentioning like an older coach has all these relationships that you don't, or has seen things that you haven't, or just isn't starstruck in the way that a younger person might be. A younger coach, it's completely different. He's asking, what was Brett Favre like? That's crazy. However, he also brings a lot of innovation.
I think that's the best combo. It's a great combo. I think there are other combinations that work as well. But when you have a guy who's been through it, been through a lot, been through negotiations, have dealt with different players, different organizations, and has the that perspective, you bring in a younger guy who is asking questions about that you're learning, but also is more connected to the game as it is now, and also comes from a different organization that had a lot of success. You would think ideas are just bouncing back and forth between these two. Like their text thread is probably crazy with the ideas and the stories and philosophies that they have. But I think that's important because football is a game that has changed a lot, but it is the same at the same time. The game has changed. Equipment has changed. The type of player has changed. Offenses have changed. Defenses have changed. But the run game is always going to be important. But the big men are always going to be important. Playing great defense is always going to be important. There's different ways to do it, but the foundation of the game is going to stay the same. So when you have a guy like Schneider who's been around the block several times and has that perspective, and then a young guy who's been around the block a couple times and has a fresher perspective, you would think that the ideas that they come up with are good. So it's important that they have a great relationship, and it sounds like they do.
Okay, last one here, and then we're going to hit break, come back talking about some interesting sound on Jalen Milroe. This was on the hiring of a defensive-minded head coach, and I want to preface it with the context of the question that was asked, which I thought was wonderful. And it was like, hey, you've worked with both an offensive-minded head coach, offensive coaches, particularly in your time with Green Bay, but then also a defensive head coach with Pete Carroll. So you have experience with both. What led you down the road of hiring a defensive head coach? Like, you had your choice. Could have been a couple guys that you went with. So this is John on being open-minded to a defensive head coach.
I think, you're going into something like that, you're extremely open-minded. My background, let's say, you lean towards the offensive coach, the stability with the quarterback. And that's legit. Mike McCarthy's one of my closest friends in the industry. And, we were part of that hiring process with Ted Thompson in Green Bay. So I felt like I had a pretty good feel for like where we were headed. But once we were able to speak to Mike, the guys, Chad Brinker in Tennessee, Dan Morgan in Carolina, Rich McKay in Atlanta, they had all interviewed him. And so I had a very close relationship with all those guys. And they're like, man, your personalities would be great. He was amazing in the interview. I can't remember the Atlanta situation. They hired Raheem pretty quick. There was a couple days where guys got hired pretty quick. It was going to come down to that championship weekend. I remember basically, this is so bad, but I remember going to church basically praying on like, I really hope Detroit loses, and I hope Baltimore loses today, the championship weekend, and they both did. I was like, oh, now I got to go talk to these guys and tell them I was hoping they lost.
I love the idea of an NFL GM being like, God, I have a favor.
Hey,
and won't he do it?
I need one. He did it. Hooked it up. It worked.
I know. I know we don't have a lot of time to discuss this part of it, but I thought it was interesting just to hear the risks of not hiring an offensive guy, but then kind of all the praise around Mike Macdonald. And honestly, if Macdonald was an offensive guy, he'd be scooped up, I bet, by another team.
That's the wave right now.
I know.
Offensive guys. And I get it because offenses are fun. They put up points, the formations, throwing the football down the field. End of the day, you need a solid defense to give you a chance. And I think he did the right thing.
You guys are really going to like what John had to say about Jalen Milroe. That's coming up next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Talking about the Mariners' plan for the trade deadline. You think people are reticent to the minor leagues and trade some prospects? I know fans develop a connection to names they hear over and over. Often you don't see these guys. I don't know how many people are making trips out to Everett or out to Tacoma to watch the young guys, but there just aren't any sure things.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus, and I want you to do what I did, man. Get on I-5, you go north, get off exit 260, and you will find Silver Reef Casino. It's a great way to get away, recharge, and get your mind right for the week. They got great rooms. They're comfortable. They're spacious. Got free Wi-Fi. Got tablets in there as well. And do what I did. I went downstairs when I was all packed in, and I went to the steakhouse and the cantina. When it was time for sports, I went to the Porter's Bay Sports Bar, had me a couple drinks, and just enjoyed the company. And bring your golf clubs. Loomis Trails Golf Course is a great golf course. 18 holes with water almost everywhere. And also, every Saturday this month, you can win $5,000. They got some events coming up, too. We got Howie Mandel. We got Desperado at Eagles Tribute Band, and Neil McCoy. Book your tickets at silverreefcasino.com. Silver Reef Casino Resort. It's not a secret anymore.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret, AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car theft dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl.
Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of the 380 people who consider Lee Johnson their home.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
IRG Physical and Hand Therapy doesn't just treat injuries, they elevate athletes. From weekend warriors to elite competitors, IRG Sports Institute clinics are built for performance, blending top-tier physical therapy with advanced sports science and personalized training plans. Hey, Brock Hewitt here with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Why? Why elevate athletes as well?
Because here at IRG, Brock, our motto is we want you to be your best self, your best physical self, your best mental self, and your best community self. At our new IRG Fremont Sports Institute, we're providing that type of care. We've got the latest equipment, the greatest techniques, the providers there that are excited to get you better, basically bigger, faster, stronger. Doesn't matter if you're a weekend warrior, a recreational athlete, an elite athlete, we will make you to be your best.
You'll work with specialists who understand the grind because they've been there. With access to cutting-edge equipment and recovery techniques, you won't just heal, you'll come back stronger. Visit irgpt.com, irgpt.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I love this song. Should play this after every major win. I always think it in my head.
Know who sings it?
Yes.
J-Rock.
Win, 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 win.
Yes.
Take it every time.
At least you know the words.
Thank you. Some more from that interview with 3 Now. John Schneider had a couple interesting things to say about Jalen Milroe, so we wanted to make it its own segment. And the purpose of this is, look, Bump, I think everyone knows about Jalen's athletic upside and running ability. It's the main kind of topic about Jalen Milroe is like, oh my God, the physical weapons he has. Oh, he's the best runner since Lamar, maybe even better, right? That was the conversation around him. But I think that because of issues with mechanics or throwing or decision-making in Alabama, so much so that an Alabama reporter we had on sounded a little relieved, frankly, that Jalen Milroe wouldn't be there anymore. We wanted to focus on how excited John Schneider sounds about his potential. So it's not a segment about why Jalen should start this year, but it is one about whether Jalen could be an answer for Seattle long-term. Because I don't think we've honestly explored that. It's been like if you tap into it, great, but got to figure out what Sam Darnold can do here. Maybe it's Sam. So I'm just kind of focusing on Jalen a little bit and a lot of the potential, real potential there. So first, John Schneider on scouting Milroe.
It was very impressive. First of all, when you see him in person, you're like, whoa, this is the guy running 22 miles an hour right here. This that guy. He's a physical specimen. But to be able to watch him interact with his teammates, how he conducted himself on the sidelines, interact with the coaches, and then all the different people that have coached him over the years, getting their insight, their input about the work ethic. And that's really what stands out when you're seeing somebody like this. Everybody loved the person and then the competitor. Now we can see it out here. Excuse me, his work ethic's outstanding. He's here at 6 o'clock, leaving at 7, you know what I mean?
He said they stuck to their board when they took Milroe.
Like, here he is. This is the spot. We're comfortable. These are we're sticking with our board. And then, we have the buy-in. And here we go. Like, he doesn't have to start like day one, guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody knows that going in. We have a plan, right? And so being able to be comfortable with that, okay, this is where he is. This is where we feel comfortable drafting him. And, these are the positions we want to hit first.
He's drawn a lot of comparisons to other mobile quarterbacks. John Schneider compared him to another name, a former Packer, Brett Favre.
I go back to Brett again because Brett was like, they had those wow throws and then those whoa throws. Like, whoa, that was amazing. Or no, yes, nice throw. You know what I mean? But like, there was a little bit of that with Jalen as well. And then Brett's work ethic, I'm sure you've seen those videos where he didn't know what a nickel defense was, didn't know what a dime defense was. He was just a baller. And but the work ethic on Brett was huge and the competitor. And so I hate like those, comparing the talent levels and all that kind of stuff, but like the makeup of the person. We had him out here on a 30 visit, Jalen, and he really impressed everybody. And I'm talking like I said, like our player development people, the equipment people, our cafeteria, the people in the cafeteria.
Interesting stuff on Jalen Milroe from those 3 cuts. Again, 3 and Out podcast on YouTube. Bump, what stands out to you?
The wow and the whoa. Yeah, I think that especially with a young quarterback, you want to see the wow and the whoa. Even if he's forcing a pass into a window he shouldn't try to force it into, if he completes it, is wow. If he doesn't, is whoa. Let's talk about that. Why did you make that throw? And seeing a guy have that type of confidence to try and make that throw is awesome. Mm-hmm. You rather want to hold him back than kind of push him forward. If there's a quarterback who's just so timid, always looking for check downs, not trying to make plays, at the end of the day, this is the NFL. You're going to have to make some throws. The windows aren't going to be as open as when you played Vanderbilt. And actually, Vandy beat them last year, didn't they? So, but it's not going to be the same. So I like that he has the wow and the whoa, because that tells me that he's making plays and he has the confidence to try to make plays that he shouldn't make. But it also allows these guys to coach him up and get him ready.
I think the same cut, that third one stuck with me. Also because of the actual comp that's made. And John Schneider is careful to say, look, I'm not looking at like total talent level. And I hate comparing talent levels in general and comparing prospects. But I think one mistake that happens when we look at prospects and try to comp them to someone else is we look at really surface level things and sometimes make comps that don't leave a lot to be explored, right? So, he runs faster than Lamar. His comp could be Lamar. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's unfair. Like Jalen Milroe is a mobile quarterback, but otherwise some different profiles. You
know what I like?
Huh?
I like that he made the comp to Brett Favre.
To a white quarterback?
I love that.
Me too.
Right? Because naturally, and even me, I see a mobile black quarterback. I'm like, all right, one of my brothers at in the league.
Yeah.
Who's he playing like?
Easy.
But then you dive deeper and you start to see, all right, maybe they're a bit different. That's why I love the comparison of Jalen Hurts and Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Because I see it. And initially, to the eye, you're not going to want to compare Jackson Dart to Jalen Hurts because they look different.
Yes.
The pigment is different. But so I love that he has the football knowledge to dig deeper and say, actually, he reminds me of Brett Favre.
Me too. I really, really like that because it allows us to also then re-examine Brett with a different lens.
Yeah.
Well, wow. Dang. I see Brett Favre. The Brett Favre that I understood growing up. Granted, I watched a lot more of Aaron Rodgers, who unfortunately used to be my favorite quarterback. But my understanding of Brett Favre is a Hall of Fame guy.
Yeah.
One of the best ever, biggest arm ever. I didn't see the Brett Favre that was just a mess, where it's like, oh, he's a very unfinished product. He's got a cannon, but is an unfinished product. John is privy to that kind of prospect and to, deep roots in Green Bay, from Green Bay. And so for him, he's looking at, to your point, all kinds of things, the whole person. And the player that felt natural to him as a comp was someone who had the whoa and wow, was an unfinished product with tons of potential, and really a want to and a willingness to get it done. Yeah. That's what he saw when he looked at Jalen. And that's way more interesting to me than just, it's Lamar, when you know that he's not going to be, that they're different quarterbacks. Yeah,
it just shows us how complicated the quarterback position is, because this is what John does, right? He's the quarterback guy. He evaluates quarterbacks. He wanted Josh Allen. He's privy to a lot of stuff. And how does he come up with these comps? It's because he goes deeper. He knows the person too. And I think that's what's important as well, is you can look at the physical attributes and just try to pigeonhole a guy. But at the quarterback spot, man, it's a lot is between the ears, man. Like, do you have the competitive nature to go out there and try to force a football into a window? Do you have the competitive nature to try to throw one 60 yards down the field and hit it on the outside shoulder? That's what's fun about evaluating players, is because you get what you get on film, but when you dive deeper and get to know the player and the personality, you could go different directions with your evaluation.
We can all agree that the Mariners need a little bit of help, but what kind of move makes them a playoff team? Rowland-Smith joining us next.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from.
Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at muckleshootcasino.com. Muckleshoot.
Friends of Waterfront Park invites you to grand opening season with free events and classes all summer long. Enjoy the brand new Waterfront Park Market, Seattle's newest open-air marketplace, every Thursday through Sunday until September. WaterfrontParkSeattle.org.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
How we going, mates? It's Rowland-Smith for Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. So I've told you this before. I dropped 30 pounds in 60 days, but that was back in the month of March. Well, how am I doing now as we head into the month of June? I'm doing awesome. I'm keeping the weight off. I haven't even moved in regards to adding the pounds. I've kept right there at a steady 220, feeling amazing. I only have to, measure myself, check in basically once a week now, but this is so easy. I have to travel a lot for the season with the Mariners, obviously, and heading off to MLB Network on the East Coast. So it can be tough. I get it when you travel, some of the airport food and everything else, it can be tough. But listen, they give you the systems, the guidelines to keep you in check and to keep the weight off. It is so easy. Go to eastsideweightlossklinic.com. Have a free 15-minute conversation with Dr. Ryan Coogan and his team and change your life just like I did right now and keep the weight off. It is the best feeling ever.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
In a new record sale, the Buss family sold majority ownership of the Lakers for a franchise valuation of $10 billion, the most ever for a U.S. team. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne reports that Jeannie Buss will remain the Lakers governor and continue to run the team for at least a number of years. The Panthers might have celebrated a little too hard following their second consecutive championship. The Stanley Cup is cracked and dented. Can't be the first time. Congrats to the Panthers, who, yes, will have the cup repaired before their parade on Sunday.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Talking about that series against the Red Sox, taking a look ahead on an off day, and of course talking about some potential moves at the trade deadline. Here with us now to talk Mariners is Ryan Rowland-Smith on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Our weekly conversation with Ryan brought to you by Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Hey Ryan, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing? What was that? Was that
Eastside?
It was Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Shout out.
All right.
We
just trying to grab your endorsement deal. That's all.
Yeah. We have a lot of stuff to talk about looking forward. So I don't want to spend too much time looking back on a series loss, especially since it was a series loss. That being said, Ryan, I thought there were real opportunities here against the Red Sox, and Bump made a great point, which is that in theory, if you were to group all these games together, the Mariners outscored the Red Sox, that you could say they had a better offensive performance, but it sure didn't feel like it. What are you seeing from the Mariners offense right now, the good and the bad?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I mean, homestand-wise, coming off that road trip, last time I spoke to you, I nearly missed my flight, by the way, so I apologize if I sound like I was scrambling. I apologize to Curtis yesterday. But now I'm relaxed, and I'm coming off.
Him.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Hey, coming off, honestly, a good homestand because, a couple of things that turned around. First of all, there was enough offense in that road trip prior before that you got to this homestand. But they just weren't doing it runners in scoring position. Curtis and I talked about this on the post game yesterday. They went 186 runners in scoring position, just not getting it done on that road trip. And all of a sudden, they performed when it counted at times. Now, I think I'm talking with Cleveland as well. Now, the Red Sox, you had a real opportunity. They all of a sudden they're in a situation. They lose Rafael Devers, so they're a little bit rattled. A lot going on off the field. Matter of fact, Netflix should have jumped in on the documentary this year compared to last year. I'm not going to lie. But there was an opportunity there where this lineup did not look the same at all. And you had a situation where you had Giolito, Walker Buehler before you get to Garrett Crochet. Now, Giolito, you go back to that game, man, that third inning, I can't get it out of my head. You had him on the ropes and mound visit. The game started speeding up. And the at-bat to JP, he just, honestly, I wasn't expecting a fastball at the top of the strike zone, and he struck him out, and then he struck out Julio, and then he struck out Cal, and that was it. That was the turning point. And I was like, here we go, man. We just had this good series against the Guardians, and then all of a sudden you get this golden opportunity to take game one, especially with Buehler on the mound the next day. I thought it was a really good matchup, and obviously it was, before you get to Crochet. You lose that game to Giolito, take care of Walker Buehler. That was fun. Cal having a massive night. And then you run into Garrett Crochet. So when you really break it down, it came down to just a couple at-bats, game one, took care of business, game two. And I'm sorry, man, but Garrett Crochet, when he's on, forget it. Forget about it. And not to mention, too, the bullpen after that. You get the back end, which has been literally a top three bullpen in Major League Baseball over a month, like a good 40 days worth of just rock solid. So that was going to be really tough yesterday during that day game. And so, it was a rough one. But now I'm telling you, man, you have a rough stretch in front of you. The Cubs they're really good. And then you've got a couple other tough opponents. So, it was a tough one to drop, I'm not going to lie.
We're trying to figure out where does this team go from here. And naturally, we respond off of what we saw yesterday, right? Not a good performance by the squad, but you mentioned you're 4-2 on this homestand, better than the last time you were here. And then, Ryan, I just start to look at little positives because it's like, look, you still got, a bunch of games left to play. Where are the improvements coming? And I stumbled across Cole Young, and it feels like and looks like over the past few games he's starting to find his groove. What are you seeing with him?
Yeah, hey, I'm glad he's at the top of my little chart here. I'm looking at some numbers. And just looking at some breakdowns, not what has he changed. He's just he's taken a breath and he's gotten comfortable. Couple of things. First of all, team overall. I'll get to Cole Young in just a second. Couple of things. Team overall, going into yesterday, the team, I don't know, I haven't updated the numbers yet, but the bullpen has just been rock solid. Last time I spoke to you and I nearly missed my flight, I'm not. It sounds like I'm blaming you.
You were
really like this.
You
is
were
like
really
the
shook.
second
That
time
was
you brought it up.
traumatizing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst when you're in SeaTac can get bad, but it's your home airport. When you're in another airport somewhere else, you're just freaking out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But last time I spoke to you guys, I was really worried for good reason, about the bullpen. I mean, it was just like there's holes all over the shop, and there was some health issues and everything else. Bullpen was rock solid. Big reason why is just because starting pitching sets that tone where you're not walking guys, getting ahead of the count. You make the offense press a little bit more. Plus, you only I can't stress this enough. It sounds so insignificant. When you have to cover 4 innings a night as opposed to covering 3, it exposes your bullpen if you don't have the depth. I mean, Cleveland Guardians, a classic example of that. You have 2 or 3 guys who are top 5 in every category, yet if you have to cover 4 as opposed to 3, everything changes. The Mariners bullpen has had to cover 4 innings, April and the month of May. Now, all of a sudden, you get into this rotation where everything looks good, obviously around Logan Gilbert, obviously going 5, but you're getting to that point where you can push through the 6th and then on into the 7th if need be, and it just doesn't expose that bullpen. So that was a huge plus coming out of this homestand, and the walks are down, everything that goes with that. Offensively, man, look, in the month of April, this team was good because I said this to you guys last week, there was a really good balance to it. You had guys performing down the bottom of the lineup. Mind you, J.P. Crawford was hitting 9th, if you remember, in the month of April. Now, all of a sudden, you got Ben Williamson starting to figure some things out. It's not like he's crushing the ball and hitting dingers, but, man, I'm telling you, better at bats, laying off pitches that he'd usually just be a sitting duck with some of these pitches outside the strike zone. And on top of that, man, look, I'm telling you, I'm excited about Cole Young. And not that I wasn't when he first came up. He just, to me, and I was talking about this with Roman Anthony the last couple of days with the Red Sox, you get up, there's so much anticipation about you getting there. You go through this, wow, I'm first of everything, first home run and first walk-off and, first diving play I make and everything else. And everyone's like, oh, wow, what's the future look like? And you get all these, big picture questions. Then all of a sudden you get beyond that. It's like, all right, dude, now you got to produce. Now you got to figure out how to get through that 3rd, 4th at bat against a dude who's throwing 98 with sink. And so what I'm seeing now, once he hit the road and came back, and sometimes when you're a young player, you get on the road, you feel like no one's watching. I know it sounds crazy. I think since he's gotten back, he's just like, there's certain pitches per at bat that he's able just to recognize, lay off, and then all of a sudden get in a good count. Not to mention, I don't want to sound old school here, but when you're facing a young left-handed hitter, and you can, if you're a left-on-left, for example, like, again, I can go back to countless examples. I didn't have the best left-on-left stuff, I'll tell you right now. However, there was a script. You can throw something with a fastball with a little bit of movement inside and just expose them all day, breaking ball away. When he started putting those balls into left field, wasn't crushing him, just that one little thing, man. I'm telling you, 2 things happen. Number one, pitching him, you can't just stick to a script. You have to come up with different ways to pitch him. And number 2, his confidence goes through the roof because it's like, you know what? I don't have to make ridiculously good contact or get ace swings off every single time, and I'm still on base. Your confidence goes through the roof. So when you see that 7, 8, 9 in this lineup start to do good things, whether it be Cole Young or Ben Williamson or some of these guys, I'm telling you, it just helps out in so many different factors.
We were talking a bit about the trade deadline, and Bump made a great point, which is that fortunately or unfortunately, this team's best thing to hope for is that a lot of the bats they have just become way more consistent, that a Rosarina suddenly looks amazing, that Julio looks like July Julio, and you start getting the best version of themselves. With that being said, maybe they don't go find an even better bat at the trade deadline, and maybe the move instead is to just get something and someone that can help. If you're thinking of I don't want to say a lesser profile, Ryan, but you know what I'm saying, of someone that could just kind of, round out those corners, what kind of addition makes sense for this team?
Well, I think, and I'm going to contradict myself here. Now, look, if talking about the second and third base areas, you got 2 young players, right? Now, it's a tough one because here you have it. I'm using these two examples, and I'll get to another position I'm looking at offensively as well. You get to a place where you have a Cole Young who you've invested a lot in. You want him to play every day, and you want a situation August, September, especially add a bonus, man. When you're coming down that stretch in September, you want a young player to really feel that and learn what that's like. If you plan on being a playoff contender year after year. And same goes with Ben Williamson. Not as big as Cole Young, but I'm looking at this going, is there any way here you could, if you are going to literally put them in a situation where they're 7, 8, 9, and the swing and miss goes up a little bit, or there's not enough thump or add on there, maybe you can start looking at a situation where, hey, you know what? All right, we fill that void there at second base or fill that void there at third base, however you want. But then all of a sudden you look at that and go, hold on, no. We kind of do have a little bit of a area at first base too, where you don't have a situation that you're investing a lot into in regards to, a prospect who you can, at first base, as we know, Rowdy Tellez and Donovan Solano are filling that spot at first base. So you do have that. The hard thing about calling it a first base pickup or a DH pickup, they're just so competitive, man. You're going to have to give up a lot for that, right? So, I'm looking at this going, all right, if the Mariners in this year, and they've got this good young farm system and everything else, we know traditionally they don't go after rentals. But the rental player is going to be quite expensive coming at the end of July. And so I'm looking at this going, all right, how nifty can you get in regards to making a move that is attractive enough? I know JP Morosi talked about, Ryan O'Hearn. I would love that. Absolutely. Man, he's going to be really tough, competitive-wise, to compete with some of these other teams to go at a first base. If there is somewhere elsewhere that you can reach out to as well to pick up if you are going to fill a first base non-defensive position. I'm not saying it's easy to play, or a DH role in that regard. I still feel like I said this to you guys a week ago. Man, if you could get that extra bullpen arm, that would make a difference. This team is going to be winning this based off getting through 9 innings of shutout or close to. The bullpen can really, really help out with that too.
Hey, Ryan, in football, there's something called hidden yardage, right? It's like, okay, well, penalty yards and stuff like that. And I'm trying to find just hidden things about this team that will hopefully show up later on in the season, allow them to have success. And the stat that I stumbled across was just stolen bases. After seeing Rowdy still won and seeing Cal still won, they're 4th in the league with 75 stolen bases. How important is that to the identity of this team, especially a team that struggles with runners in scoring position and just moving guys around?
Yeah, it's huge, man. It is huge. They did that in April, and a couple things it does, obviously with Victor Robles, a couple things it does. I'm telling you this from a pitching standpoint. It just puts – when you have – all right, a couple things. Number one, a guy's going to take off from first base, or you get humiliated – I'm saying that word when Rowdy just takes a shuffle step and off he goes, and the crowd's going nuts. Your brain anchors on that, and it affects how you pitch the next couple guys. It was so blatant, even in some of these innings we saw against the Red Sox, when you can't hold runners. Look at Walker Buehler was just an absolute shell at points because he just was not present with what he was doing at the plate. So that's the first factor. The other one is, too, and we saw this a couple of times. We saw it against Gabe Spire, where if you can get a guy at third base and he's bouncing off that bag, from a catching standpoint, and you got Garrett Crochet out there who's really tough to catch, man. Guys like that are tough because they can throw. They're trying to elevate, and then they can bounce that changeup or that breaking ball down, or even a Rolders Chapman, using a couple of examples. When you get the guy at second and third and you're pushing, and all of a sudden you got to make that perfect play or whatever, the catcher has to keep the ball in front of him. It is going to dictate the way they pitch call. That's just the way it goes. So it just has that element. April, we had it. Obviously, Victor Robles was there. Randy, obviously, the hamstring is good to go. I like seeing that. If he's going to be by the way, he hasn't been hitting that great, but on base, he's been through the roof. If he's going to be on base and you have that element, you want to see it a little bit more. I want to see some of these younger guys just get that extra base. If they don't have the speed, Eric Young Jr. get out there early and push for that extra base, man, because it is such a game changer when you're facing a team that can just put you on the ropes by what they're doing on the bases.
Mariners broadcaster and MLB analyst Ryan Rowland-Smith, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, thanks, guys.
See ya. All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, who would be a luxury player for the Seahawks?
First off, man, I didn't say this to start the show. Happy Juneteenth, man. You know, all you guys got work off today. I appreciate you because it was an easy commute this morning to work. No traffic. It was great. Happy Juneteenth. But you sent me an article, so give this thing some context for other people.
So Bill Barnwell has an article on ESPN looking at the best luxury players around the league, and the idea is a player that not everyone is going to have, whether because he gives you a position that's really versatile, really rare. So like a certain kind of slot guy or a great, like fullback kind of, or a blocking tight end, like just something that not every team has. Is the way he's looking at it. So kind of unique positions or unique players.
All right, so for me, the luxury player for the Seahawks could be Elijah Arroyo. And I say that because he's a tight end that possesses things that only a couple tight ends can do. Even George Kittle, you don't see him lined up outside very much, but he has the capabilities to do that. Everything we see and hear about Elijah Arroyo is that you can move him around. You can put him outside, put him in the slot, and attach him to the line of scrimmage at your traditional tight end spot. And then you look at the tight ends in that room. A.J. Barner, he's not widening out. He might go to the slot every now and then. You got Noah Fant. He's a finesse type of dude. So it's just you already have tight ends who can do some of the things that Elijah can do, but he just does it at a different level. And I think it'll open up the playbook when it comes to these guys. So I'm excited about him. I think he's a player that you could do without, but because you have him, it just enhances everything that you want to do.
A luxury item. And frankly, let's say he grows into that player long term. Well, all of a sudden you've got a Jimmy Graham situation on your hands. But maybe it works out where you're paying a tight end to do a wide receiver's job.
Yeah,
and that's a luxury when it comes to your salary cap.
Like all those purses you have, you don't need all of them.
Yes, I do.
But
you need
every now and then you have one.
Well, yeah.
That's a little extra.
Yeah.
That's Elijah Arroyo.
It's important to have that one because you can't just all the time use you can't use a white handbag every day.
No, you can't.
You can't use a white handbag in December. You know what I mean? I can't bring a work tote out to, a bar.
And you know what you can't do? Use a finesse tight end in 3rd and 2,
Exactly.
So it's a luxury item. And there's only been, Noah Fant went for 500 yards in 2024. I believe that's like 9th most in Seahawks history.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have Jimmy Graham around 900-something yards. I think that this is your luxury item on offense, Elijah Arroyo.
Second down. Last season produced one rookie running back with 1,000 yards. Will that be the case in 2025?
No, I really think you'll have at least 2, maybe 3 running backs to go over 1,000 yards. The first running back I'm looking at, of course, is Genty with the Raiders. He will be RB number 1. The second one we got to keep eyes on is Amarion Hampton. He's with the Chargers behind Najee Harris. Najee Harris goes for 1,000 yards every year, but we'll see there. Also, you have Travion Henderson. He's behind Stevenson with New England. But the next guy that are 2 that I really have an opportunity to go are Sampson and Judkins. They're Cleveland running backs. They're behind Ford, but I think these 2 are a bit more explosive and talented than Ford over there with the Cleveland Browns. And Scatterboo. I think Scatterboo can go for over 1,000 yards total, like 500 receiving, 500 rushing. I think it's going to be a good year for the running backs. You had about 25 running backs drafted last year, a position that is, like I always say, one of the most natural positions in football. Hand the football off, you run, you go. I like what I'm seeing out of the running backs this year, but man, it's a position that is almost oversaturated, but it needs to be that way because of just the beating these guys take. So I think you will get 2 to 3 running backs over 1,000 yards this year, and then a few running backs to have over 1,000 yards total. Good year for running backs. So I look at your fantasy teams and load up.
Ashton, the rookie running back you're maybe most excited to see?
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Easy, because he's going to get touches. Geno works good off the play action.
I just know Pete Carroll's going to lose his dang mind. He's
Pete
so
Carroll
excited.
Is looking at Genty and just with admiration. There's little stars in his eyes when he looks at Genty.
As Pete would say, he's probably real fired up right now.
Real fired up.
Real fired up.
Yeah.
3rd down. What's something you're hearing about Jalen Milroe that you like?
Yeah, I like that. Obviously doing my daily reading and stuff and checking in on folks, and everything I'm hearing and seeing is that they're going to be really cautious with Milroe. They're not going to put him in high leverage situations, and what that means is maybe someone goes down and it's the fourth quarter, you need a game-winning drive. You got Drew Lock for that stuff, right? You want Jalen Milroe to sit back and kind of watch how the operation goes down, get those mental reps, so when it's time to shine, he can go out there and do that. And I love this approach because, honestly, we're banking on maybe him being the guy when the Sam Darnold thing is done. Will it be done after this year? Will it be done in 3 years? I prefer 3 years, as that means, one, Sam Darnold's playing some really good football, and two, Milroe has had an opportunity to sit back and kind of watch how to be a professional. And despite what Sam Darnold has done throughout his career, he's a professional. There's a reason why he keeps getting on football teams. There's a reason why he had success last year. We'll see if it translates to this year. But no, everything I'm reading and seeing is that they are taking it extremely slow with Milroe. So if something were to happen and Darnold goes down and you don't see Milroe jogging out there, you see Drew Lock, just hold your horses, calm down, just realize it's part of the process, and really be thankful for that process, because the last thing you want to do is just ruin a young man's confidence so early in his career. We've seen it happen too many times. Sam Darnold, one of those guys, but he's found a way to bounce back. So they're just taking it slow with Milroe, and I like that.
Fourth down, taking it slow with Milroe. Bars. How does Sam Darnold plan to improve this season?
He's saying all the right things. He's saying all right things. I'm going to read his quote. He goes, I think being able to get the ball out a little quicker. Yeah. And even if a guy is covered, even if my back's covered on a check down, just throwing it at his feet, Darnold said. I feel like I was taking some unnecessary sacks last year. Yes, especially the last 2 games. I'll definitely be thinking about that. Keeping 2 hands on the ball in the pocket at all times, just doing all the little fundamental things. But that's a big one, is being able to just get the ball out on time. I like that. So then I went back and looked at his stats. He did have 12 interceptions last year, okay? The highest was 16 by Kirk Cousins, 16 by Baker Mayfield, but Mayfield dropped 41 touchdowns as well. Out of the guys who have thrown 12 interceptions, Sam Darnold had 35 touchdowns, and Jared Goff had 37 touchdowns. So looking at Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield, you can still have success throwing those interceptions, but they're timely. So yeah, he's right. It's all about ball security. And if you watch the film on Sam Darnold, he would take some risky throws. He wouldn't just throw it in the dirt. You're supposed to live to fight another day, to play another down, and sometimes he didn't do that. So the first step is making yourself aware of the situation, and he's completely aware of it. I'm sure Kubiak has talked to him about it. I'm sure O'Connell talked to him about it last year. It's just being aware of what you need to get better at. So they're saying the right things. This is say the right things and look good in pajama season. And so far, he's done both of those.
In the last minute here, before we hit break and head to the timeline, earlier we talked about the room for Jalen Milroe to end up being a really great quarterback, and there was an awesome and really interesting comp to Brett Favre that John Schneider had. Again, that was with 3 and Out, and you can go back and listen to that in hour 1 of the Bump and Stacy podcast. We didn't talk about Sam Darnold because it just wasn't a segment about Sam. But if you were to, in the last minute here, try to think of, like, is there a place where Sam can grow? We all talk about, like, how can he get as close to last year as possible with the idea of, like, how can he be a B student? What if there's a world Sam can be an A+?
That's it right there. I mean, I forgot who was it. Daniel Jeremiah, I want to say, on the morning show said this, and Brock and Salk, that he's prone to turn the football over. And that's the thing with quarterbacks. You're going to turn the football over. I can't remember a season where someone threw 30-plus touchdowns and no interceptions, but I did see Lamar Jackson throw 41 and 4 interceptions. I saw Aaron Rodgers throw 40 and 4 interceptions. There's a way to be extremely efficient. You're going to turn the football over, but that's your job, is to protect the football. Take it, throw it in the dirt on 3rd down. If that means you got to play the field position game, then you just do that. So that's the maturation of a quarterback, is understanding the complete situation. Look, I might not be able to get a first down here, but I don't want to turn the football over, and you have arguably the best punter in the game. He can pin them back for you.
ESPN's NFL All-Quarter Century team, a.k.a. everyone since 2000, has some notable snubs. One is especially egregious for Seahawks fans. That's next.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
It's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
you're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Heward here with Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come work with IRG. And Shannon, what kind of staff are you looking for at IRG?
Brock, we're looking for all kinds of clinical staff, physical therapists, occupational therapists, athletic trainers, certified occupational therapy technicians, physical therapy assistants, you name it on the clinical side. We are looking for those folks. But we are really looking for folks that want to come to an organization that want to be part of our culture and change the culture and work with us to provide the best care and service we can to our patients, our team, and our community. So those clinical people out there, we're looking for you. We also provide advanced certification. We want to provide you mentorship. We want you to grow personally and professionally here at IRG.
And with over 40 clinics throughout the Pacific Northwest, you've got the opportunity to work in the city you want. Just head over to irgpt.com/careers. That's irgpt.com/careers.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with no credit financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment needed, and financing is available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
To me, the LJ way is to provide an experience that people really enjoy being a part of. And they enjoy being a part of it because they're getting great service. They're talking with somebody that actually they feel cares about them. They care about what their impression is going to be walking away. It's also understanding you're now part of our family, and thank you for doing the business with us. And this is how we're going to show our appreciation through customer service. We're going to show our appreciation with taking care of you if you ever have an issue. Majority of the people that are coming to see us are within our community. These are people who are providing maybe services that we also use in our community. So the LJ way, to me, somebody can come into a retail setting and not feel like they got to have their guard up. And that's been a long-standing thing in the car business that, we've tried to shake.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With EarnIn, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the EarnIn app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. EarnIn is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
It is that time of year. I cannot wait for the weather to get warm like it is now on consecutive days. That means I can break the motorcycle out, ride to work, ride all over the place, and I love it more than just about anything, but I also know that it's not a matter of if, but when you get in an accident, what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you, when you're injured in a motorcycle crash, don't settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who live it. Law Tigers has been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide. They are here 24/7, 365 days a year because writers deserve real support when they need it. Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they are in need. Law Tigers is out at all the events and supporting all clubs and shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. The Law Tigers, you never ride alone. Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It's an all-quarter-century NFL team that includes some Seahawks, which is very cool, but also some notable snubs, not just Seahawks.
Yo.
One of them will be very, very egregious to Seahawks fans, and I'll start with that one. If you look at the offensive line, you will not find Walter Jones. Walter
Crazy.
Jones, not the left tackle. It's Joe Thomas and Trent Williams.
Wow.
Egregious?
I mean, look, those guys are ballers. They deserve to be there. But Walter Jones, who has less than 10 penalties his whole career, Craig, his whole career. Number 71, if you go around the country, when you talk about the greatest tackles of all time,
Come on now.
Walter Jones is in the mix. Yeah, they jacked that
Walter
one up.
Jones is he a 7-time All-Pro? Collectively, 4-time first-team All-Pro. What? Like, I can see, I'm sure there are 49ers fans and Browns fans that would be like, oh, my God, no, it's not a snub. How could you look down? Like, I'm not looking down my nose at Trent Williams or Joe Thomas, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I find that to be wild.
Yeah.
Also on this list, the most controversial group has probably been running backs, in part because there are so many players that you could choose here. These are the three that they have. Priest Holmes, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. No AP, no LaDainian Tomlinson.
All right, now listen. I mean, come on now, come on now. Priest Holmes had himself
I can hear it in your voice that you're disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, Priest Holmes had himself some really good years, man. I'm not knocking Priest Holmes at all, but when it's all said and done, he didn't have as many yards as LaDainian Tomlinson. 13,000 yards this guy has. Priest Holmes, where are you at?
AP had 14.
I'm looking to find him. I don't see Priest Holmes on this list when it comes to top 10. Just rush yards alone, LT is 7th all time, and yet Priest Holmes got on this list.
This is what ESPN has, and it was put together by Aaron Schatz and was it Jeremy Fowler? Curtis was the other name. I know Aaron was one of them. This is what they said. Yes, Holmes is our RB1 over anyone else. Think back to the turn of the century when Holmes emerged from the Baltimore bench to drive the powerful offense of the Dick Vermeil Chiefs using a dynamic combination of rushing and receiving skills. Other running backs might have had longer peaks, but none of them can match the 3-year period Holmes had from 2001 to 2003. In the advanced DYAR metrics for total value, blah, 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 these seasons ranked 15th, 2nd, and 3rd among all running back seasons. So they're looking at like the production he had for these 3 seasons, including total yards from scrimmage.
Yo, okay, LT. I don't know where he is at total yards from scrimmage, but I'm pretty sure he's up there. And they're looking at a 3-year stretch, man. LT was doing this thing for 5, 6, 7, 8 of them things, man. What are we doing here? 10 years in the game, and 7 of them were elite.
I know.
Elite.
Was that the most egregious
crazy.
snub for you?
Yeah, that was egregious. But I also got where's Michael Strahan? He's 4th all time when it comes to sacks, and he's not on this list. They got guys in front of him. Julius Peppers, baller, not hating on Julius Peppers at all, but he doesn't have as many sacks as Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan had 22 sacks in a season, 22.5, I believe, which is still a record to this day. How is Michael Strahan not on this list?
No Larry Fitzgerald.
I was going to say no Jerry Rice.
Well, the list is part of or one of the requirements.
Forgot.
In the
Okay.
2000s.
So I actually like the wide receiver list overall. I mentioned that at the beginning and then already forgot it for myself. They have Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, T.O., Marvin Harrison, Justin Jefferson. I'm cool with that. That's a very, very good wide receiver group. I love the practice squads. Practice squad, A.B., Andre Johnson.
There's another snub. Let's go down to the coaches. Where's Andy Reid? Where the heck is Andy Reid? They got Kyle Shanahan on there as an offensive coordinator. Big ups. I get that. But Andy Reid has been a head coach and a coordinator, and he's got 3 Super Bowls. Been to 2 more before that. I didn't understand that. And then I think an honorable mention, guy, you got to look at Steve Spagnuolo, man. Steve Spagnuolo has changed the game. He is, I believe he has 2 or 3 Super Bowls to his name as a defensive coordinator. Didn't really work out as a head coach. But, yeah, those 2, I was like, all right. Okay.
Curtis, was there a snub that you had that we didn't mention?
I think just the Larry Fitzgerald one. Interesting that they went. I mean, Mahomes over Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees. I think I'm okay with that, even though Mahomes' career is only still a fraction of what those guys' careers have been in terms of length. But yeah, the Larry Fitzgerald one to me, that's pretty egregious outside of the Walter Jones snub.
3 Seahawks made the list, all of them from that Super Bowl era team, Super Bowl 48 era team. Bobby Wagner, Earl Thomas, and Richard Sherman. Rightfully so. Maybe they just didn't want to give us more Seahawks. Adrian Peterson being a
Seth Walder was the other co-contributor to this.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. All right. Next story on the timeline, ESPN's Brian Windhorst has a wild stat that shows how the Lakers were able to reach the $10 billion valuation.
Their local TV deal with Spectrum is the largest local television deal that's ever been done in the history of the NBA, but it pays them far and away. A couple years ago, when I got the books from the NBA, books leaked to me, I looked at the Lakers' local media revenue, and the Lakers roughly made as much in 1 week of the season as the Grizzlies did for the whole year.
That's insane.
That's disrespectful is what it is.
That's disrespectful.
But it also makes sense. I mean, I'm an LA guy, okay? But I'm a Seattle guy too, so don't come after me. But I'm an LA guy, and the brand is bigger than the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, the population is there. LA County is huge. People travel to LA for a vacation or whatnot. So it makes sense. And you got Luka there, you got LeBron. I mean, have you ever been to a Laker game? If you watch a Laker game, it's one of the few arenas where the crowd is black. Like, there's no lights on the crowd. You know, it's like the show is on the court. If you've been to a Laker game, all the cars pulling up. It's a sight to see, man. And it's a showtime, baby. That's what it is. Showtime.
A little bit of controversy happening out in Philly, thanks to 94 WIP. They're ranking the best athletes in any sport in Philadelphia. A number of hosts for WIP have Jalen Hurts as number 1. It's creating quite a stir among the fan base. They're split. There are a lot of people in Philly that think, yeah, Jalen Hurts, number 1 overall Philly athlete, but then quite a few other people, including some people within WIP's ranks, some hosts over there, don't even have him ranked at all.
Hold on, this is Philly athletes of all time? What are we talking here?
They have 2025 top 11 athletes in Philly, so I think it's current.
Okay.
So they've
Current.
got, for
Okay,
instance,
that's fine.
so I'll read 11-6. Devonta Smith, Joel Embiid, Jordan Mailata, Kyle Schwarber, Jalen Carter, Lane Johnson. That's their 11-6 right now. I'm guessing this is going to be heavily focused on the current Eagles team. Obviously, it's jam-packed with talent. I just think that there are a number of NFL fans, much less Eagles fans, that would say, if you were building up even just like a list of the best Eagles, would Jalen Hurts be number 1?
Nah, probably Saquon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be Saquon.
Same.
So he better be on that list.
I mean,
He better be on that list. It's Saquon.
Saquon's going to be on the list, but what if Saquon's 3?
He's got to be number 1.
He's got to be 1.
It's one of the greatest seasons. He would have broken the all-time rushing record if he would have played that last week. It better be Saquon.
So then this led to the reason that I have it in the timeline in the first place is because I liked this question. How many quarterbacks from last year, starting quarterbacks around the league, could have won a Super Bowl or gone to a Super Bowl with Philly's team otherwise being exactly the same. And I'm not meaning to disrespect Jalen Hurts.
You are.
No, it is a little disrespectful. I really like Jalen Hurts. I don't think Jalen Hurts even got enough credit, especially for the way he was really able to turn it on late. Like, he did become a much more complete passer as they advanced through the playoffs, playing like his best games toward the end of the playoff run. However, I would not, if I was building a dream NFL team, Jalen Hurts would not be my quarterback.
Listen, you put
He's the most handsome quarterback in the league. I'll give him
Joe
that.
Burrow on that team, yes. Jared Goff, yes. Mayfield, yes. Geno, yes. Lamar, yes. Of course, Patrick. Aaron Rodgers, for sure. Brock Purdy would get it.
I'm just saying
not
the Eagles were loaded.
Yeah, they loaded. That's why it's important to have balance and not just depend on your quarterback to win you ball games. Granted, you can ask a few to do that, but balance is key.
What's the worst quarterback that would have won with that team?
The worst quarterback. Let's go with Tua.
If he stays on the field?
Tua, if he stays healthy, Tua would have won with that team.
I like that take. Curtis, do you have another quarterback?
I like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Baker tossed 41 touchdowns with Tampa.
I think Baker definitely could have done it. I'm just saying, like, it is taking away from Jalen a bit, but only in that I don't think he's the very best. It's only my case for him not being number one, not my case for him not getting the recognition and praise and love that he deserves. I just think that Eagles team was so unbelievably loaded. Time for the IRG injury report, brought to you by IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Sham says Tyrese Halliburton with that calf strain is expected to play in tonight's Game 6. No surprise at all. A must-win for the Pacers. Luke Raley with an oblique injury expected to be activated on the upcoming road trip, maybe even as soon as this weekend. 4 games with Tacoma. Rayleigh's 5 for 14. He hit a home run on Tuesday. Don't go anywhere.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Talking about the Mariners' plan for the trade deadline.
You think people are reticent to the minor leagues and trade some prospects?
I know fans develop a connection to names they hear over and over. Often you don't see these guys. I don't know how many people are making trips out to Everett or out to Tacoma to watch the young guys, but there just aren't any sure things.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. Honey! What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you...
Shoot, did he see us?
Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck.
And she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes. But when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news this August. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife, Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,500 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, need some listener participation for this one on the text line. I'm going to have us, a.k.a. Bump, and listeners, and Brady and Curtis, if you guys want as well, so that we can mix in some opinions here. Answer a question that we asked Ryan Rowland-Smith earlier. So I asked Ryan, what do you want to see the Mariners at the deadline? With the context of Bump's point, which is, look, I don't know that there's a Cal Raleigh you can add. I don't think you can add a July version of Julio. Hey, I hate to inform all of us of this, but I don't think there's going to be a seller with Aaron Judge. Like, the pickings are going to be slim at the deadline. This team is going to have to be really smart and aggressive, frankly. They're probably going to have to overpay, maybe in the form of prospects or whatever, to get a bat that really helps them, ideally, too. So we're going to answer this in a more unique way. What do you want to see the Mariners add? Not who. What? A skill, a quality, a characteristic. Maybe it's an age. Maybe it's a type of bat. Maybe it's a position. What do you want to see the Mariners add at the deadline? Think of your answer, 866-979-3776. You're texting and not calling. Bump, what's your thing that you want to see them add? A what, not a whom?
I want to see them add a Santana. Remember Santana?
Okay, a Santana-esque
player. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, because he would disappear for a little bit, but he would have clutch bombs or clutch hits, and he brought this fun to the organization. They are still doing the celebration that he brought to Seattle, even though he is with another team now. But I think that's the type of player that they might be able to get too. maybe an older player. I know we hate seeing a 30-something when it comes to these guys that you're acquiring, but their teams aren't getting rid of young 27-year-olds who can play, right? They're looking at the 30-somethings and saying, all right, you're not an everyday type of guy, but maybe you can contribute with a different team. That's the type of player that I think they should get and are probably going to get. They tried to do that with Solano, not working out. He did have a bomb the other day, though. So, right, did he hit a home run the other day? Big ups to him. But, yeah, I think I'm staying within your capabilities. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I was in middle school, I used to like this girl who was in 9th grade, and my boys told me straight up, she's out your league, dog.
Yeah,
and I shot my shot, and she was pretty much told me, I'm out your league.
Good for you.
Right? You know, but I shot. So that's what they need to do. Don't go after that 9th grader when you're in 7th grade. You know, go after the 8th grader maybe. And the 8th grader might give you a shot and give you a time of day and still contribute to your maturation and success.
Perfectly stated. Bump said, I want someone who bats realistically and can deliver on it. And also a veteran leader. A Carlos Santana-esque player. Curtis, Brady, you guys have one before I head to the text line. Some good answers here.
I would love a corner infielder, whether it be a first baseman or third baseman. And I guess to use the dating analogy, the Bump has opened the door for sometimes you got to admit when you're wrong. Sometimes you got to come groveling back to what made you so good in the first place. Geno Suarez, he's out there. He's available. I think he could be a big help for this Mariners team. And, like, you're not getting what Geno Suarez was like 2 or 3 years ago with the Mariners, but, like, he still can hit bombs. We saw him hit 4 in a game earlier this season. That is somebody who could obviously help. And he not only is he a productive player, but he also fits that bill of a veteran leader in that clubhouse, highly respected wherever he's played. Heck, I mean, the tunnel from the Mariners clubhouse to the dugout still has, to this day, a sign up that says good vibes only. So, like, even though he's not there, his presence still felt in that Mariners clubhouse. I think they would respond to a Geno trade, maybe bigger than any name that is available out there on the market.
Bump's looking at veteran leadership, someone reliable and consistent. Hits bombs. Curtis said, I need a corner outfielder who can hit bombs.
Corner infielder,
excuse me.
Bombs.
A corner infielder with some power here. Brady.
I'm going, what I would want us to get is a consistent batting average, right-handed hitting first baseman.
Okay, you're being demanding.
I will be demanding.
No, that's perfect answer, Brady. Explain your reasoning, though we can guess.
Well, as we all said, Donnie Barrels has been not Donnie Barrels. I mean, we're seeing a little bit of an improvement. I like Rowdy Tellez from the left side of the plate. He's
a platoon guy.
He's doing great as a platoon guy, batting left-handed, plays great defense at first, but we just don't have a first baseman that bats right-handed that can hit for average. I don't need bombs yet, but I need average. We need consistent average.
It's like, can you put something where you don't have a black hole in a lineup?
Yeah, I don't want
give me a hope. Give me a reason for hope.
I don't want a last
two on,
year
two out.
Mitch Garver style. Right. If you get up to the plate, I'm expecting you to get out.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if this team is going, I'm going to side with Curtis and Bump on this one, and specifically, I know you're looking for average. I think I might be looking for power just because I'm going to guess that they're going to continue to have to win that way. It's going to be JP gets on, Rosarena gets on. Now what? I don't want 3 outs in a row when you've got 2 on and no outs. It's just a killer formula for the Mariners that unfortunately is working out in all the wrong ways. So if that's going to have to be your recipe, then I'll go that way. Finding really consistent average is great. I don't know if they're going to be able to find it.
I have to say something. Someone on the text lines is advocating for Donnie Barrels to stay put. And they said, 3.33 the last month is not working out. And I go, oh, you trust him? And he goes, or she, he is exactly what he's always been, a good bat and a high average guy. No, that's not what he's been this year. That's what he's been for 6 days, 7 days or something like that. If I'm no disrespect to Donnie, to the Solano, you know what I'm saying?
He's got limited ABs that you're looking at.
Yeah, if we're gonna do that, I can pick out moments from everyone in this lineup and say, yeah, I trust him because of this short span of work. I think it needs to see more than that 4.25.
Yeah.
But at least Donnie knows you have his back.
I can respect a difference in opinion. I don't think this team is a playoff team if they don't add. And I don't think that Solano's going to make them that.
No.
And I think that this team should be a playoff team and thus needs to add.
But he has played better as of late. We'll give him that.
Let's see. A couple of answers. A player who can has a high average with runners in scoring position. I'm so tired of seeing runners left on base, looking at a bit of what Brady was looking at there. We've got a couple for veteran leadership and a couple for Geno in particular. Curtis's was pretty popular. Honestly, all three of you kind of hit the nail on the head with a lot of these answers. Raw power, says Mo from Puyallup. We have enough contact hitters right now, looking for just power. Someone said, someone who can hit 50 home runs with the Mariners for the remainder of the season. That's the type of player I want them to get.
Nice.
Hey, I hear you. Someone else says mid-relief is absolutely what they're looking at.
You can never have enough of that.
Never have enough of that, and they absolutely need to add. And then first base, the most popular position that people are looking at. It's interesting to see all the different types of profiles that people look. The truth is they need more than one bat, but it's interesting that when asked, hey, okay, what if it's one? What's the most important need? Forget like the ideal player. Just what's the most important need? It's interesting to see the different answers.
Yeah. And I like the different answers too, because I think there are a lot of good ones, man. I mean, I've heard 4 or 5 that I'm like, yeah, I can get with that. Instead of keeping Danny Burrows at the same spot and depending on him to come through and help the squad.
Yeah, someone else blamed the Mariners' troubles on my tempt jinx, or on me tempting jinxes. However, they did sweep the Guardians.
It's plausible.
I don't think it is.
No? I mean.
That if I admit jinxes are real, the Mariners are going to, like, go on and sweep.
Look, we got to do everything possible, Stacy. And if you don't, you're just letting the team down.
But then I'm admitting it's something I don't believe. I think jinxes are real.
There we go.
All right. Lakers just sold for a absolutely mind-boggling $10 billion. What's it mean for expansion to Seattle, though? ESPN NBA writer Kevin Pelton joining us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Talking about the Mariners' plan for the trade deadline. You think people are reticent to the minor leagues and trade some prospects? I know fans develop a connection to names they hear over and over. Often you don't see these guys. I don't know how many people are making trips out to Everett or out to Tacoma to watch the young guys, but there just aren't any sure things.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Rare and luxurious 100 years of exceptional automobiles is currently on display at LeMay, America's Car Museum. Feel the thrill of racing simulators. It's excitement for all, and out-of-town visitors will love it. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Church's Chicken is bringing even more flavor to the neighborhood with our Bremerton location, and we can't wait to share what we've been cooking up. So stop by and try our bold, juicy, flavor-to-the-bone fried chicken with all our only at Church's Fixins. Yeah, your newest fave is waiting with unbeatable deals and unmistakable crunch right here at the Church's Chicken in Bremerton on 4000 Wheaton Way. That's right. Come on down. Friends, family, and neighbors welcomed at 4000 Wheaton Way in Bremerton. See you soon. Church's.
Walking away from an interaction with a customer that says, I can't believe how easy this was. I can't thank you enough for helping me.
Our strategy with pricing is not to be the highest price and not to be the lowest price, but to be a really good price and to provide a really good experience to the customer.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of candies and fruits and stuff. It was just really sweet. It felt like we were truly helping.
Receiving a handwritten letter that's personalized to a salesperson or a service advisor or a technician expressing gratitude, and then taking that home and sharing that with your family and hanging that on your refrigerator, that's the difference.
You hear it from one person, and then another, and another. You come to realize it's not a script, it's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
In a new record sale, the Buss family sold majority ownership of the Lakers for a franchise valuation of $10 billion, the most ever for a U.S. team. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne reports that Jeannie Buss will remain the Lakers' governor and continue to run the team for at least a number of years. The Panthers might have celebrated a little too hard following their second consecutive championship. The Stanley Cup is cracked and dented. Can't be the first time. Congrats to the Panthers, who, yes, will have the cup repaired before their parade on Sunday.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
ESPN NBA writer Kevin Pelton joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. A lot to talk about. We're going to get to expansion talk to start, and then we'll jump to a few NBA Finals questions. First, Kevin, yesterday we got massive news about that sale of the Lakers. Obviously, as hopefuls of a Seattle team here, we want to know whether or not it impacts expansion efforts. So what did expansion efforts look like prior to this sale? And then what does the sale of the Lakers mean?
Yeah, I think it's the most positive momentum that we've seen since probably last summer when we were feeling really good about the chances of this. And Adam Silver was talking a lot about getting the process underway. The fact that we've seen kind of a specific concrete timetable with him mentioning bringing it up at the Board of Governors meetings in July is very positive. And look, the Lakers going for the number that they did, $2 billion more than their Sportico valuation, which was already, one of the highest in the league at $8 billion, the highest sale valuation ever for any pro sports franchise in the U.S. It's all, makes it all the more likely that they can get the kind of number 4 expansion fees that they want, the owners want, to justify bringing 2 more teams into the league and splitting up the TV contracts that way.
Expansion has been big here in Seattle. Everyone is wondering when the Sonics will be back, and it feels natural, right? Seattle and Las Vegas, but I've also heard Columbus thrown in there. I've heard Austin thrown in the mix. Is it really those 2 cities you feel like are up for the expansion, or do you think that there are other towns or cities in play?
I definitely think that the league is going to want to explore other cities, if only to make sure that those cities don't feel left out of the process. And, that is a situation where if the NBA, expands by 2 teams but needs to relocate a team down the road, perhaps that's a possibility. I would be pretty stunned if it was any American city besides Seattle and Las Vegas. Mexico City is still out there lurking as the wild card that I think eventually Adam Silver wants as part of his legacy to have the NBA be the first league to put a team, American League to put a team in Mexico City and really claim that Mexican market for the NBA's own. But, I don't think that's likely at this stage. I think it's a little premature, I think, to do that. And, everything seems to be pointing to Seattle and Vegas, because if you are charging, $5 billion, $6 billion, whatever the final number is for an expansion team, it's hard to justify that for one of these smaller markets that are in consideration.
It's so hard for me not to read into kind of a trepidation in Adam Silver's tone sometimes, or rather like a hesitation. And maybe it's because I'm being negative and I tend to be kind of pessimistic that I just think like, oh my God, when are we going to get a team here? But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, Kevin, what's the point of view in your mind of owners when it comes to expansion? Is there some disagreement there? Does it tend to be against or for?
I think there is, and I think that's why, the process did slow down a little bit, and particularly waited out the sale of the Boston Celtics, which ended very well for expansion, with that number coming in at $7 billion where it did, and kind of, again, setting a ceiling for what you could justify getting for franchises in Seattle and Vegas. But, yeah, I mean, first off, I think that trepidation is totally understandable. We've had the rug pulled out from us so many times before that, until they announce the team, until I see them playing a game at Climate Pledge Arena, there's always going to be a little bit piece of me that's wondering, hey, is this going to happen to us again? But I think what I would say, and I think what I would also say is, if it were up to Adam Silver, I think expansion would be greenlit, that process would already be well underway right now, that it is a matter of getting all the owners on board, because there is a group in the league that their position is, look, why would we want to expand and cut up the TV revenue when we can just move teams from smaller markets to Seattle and Vegas and increase their value that way, and, take those teams from being teams that are getting revenue sharing to being teams that potentially pay into the revenue sharing. So I can see why that's appealing, particularly to large market owners. But I think for small market owners, the prospect of, again, if you're talking about, $5 billion for each of these teams, that's $10 billion combined. That's a lot of money for you to split up for the existing 30 owners.
Me being an LA native, I saw the news with the Lakers, and it made sense, right? Mark Walter owns the Dodgers and done great things over there. They've been in the playoffs, 12 times, or World Series 4 times, and won twice since he's been the owner over there. The game's a bit different with the Lakers, but I have questions. I don't even know if you have the answers to this, but me just being a Laker dude, I go, all right, why now? Why after 46 years does a Buss family decide, all right, let's sell this team? You have any idea?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think, maybe there's a sense that this is kind of a peak for the NBA in some ways financially, and certainly in terms of the leverage that you have for being in the market like LA, because, part of the aspect of that, obviously, you benefit from ticket sales, you benefit from sponsorships, but a lot of it historically has been these big local TV deals. And if those no longer are as big a factor, and we're seeing the NBA move to a model where there's more national TV games, this has been a complaint of James Dolan and some of the other large market owners, that distinction between bigger markets and smaller markets gets eroded a little bit. So maybe there's a feeling that we're getting out well to getting is best. But yeah, I mean, that's a question. It'll be curious when Jeannie Buss and the Buss family talks about that, what they have to say about why now.
Before I ask my next question, when you mentioned small market owners might be more hesitant to approve this because it's more money in the short term to split up, which I can kind of understand. Do you think OKC's ownership group is one of those groups against Seattle getting an expansion team? Because that's just messy. It's hurtful.
I think they would rather this whole thing be wiped behind them. I think that, one thing you have to give the Thunder credit for, obviously nobody in Seattle has to give them credit for, but one thing they deserve credit for is, like, they have gone out of their way to not play up the Seattle part of their history at all. They're ready, I think, to move on, to let the Sonics have their name and their history back and let it be Oklahoma City.
Okay, we are going to get to the finals. I have one more expansion question. What is the actual next step kind of process look like? Like, when will we know here in Seattle that if we see a bit of news, because we're not always going to be able to call you up, Kevin, when are we going to know that if we see a bit of news, it's like, okay, this is a step forward, that's a step forward? Like, what does a good path forward look like to you?
I can be on standby, except
Wonderful.
I guess I'm on vacation.
Maybe we will
perhaps,
call you
but,
up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very curious to see what the takeaway is going to be coming out of this Board of Governors meeting in Vegas during NBA Summer League next month. It could be as bold as we have formed an expansion committee. We are ready to go out and take bids and talk to potential ownership groups and decide on cities. It could just be a bit of a more cautious, along the lines of we've formed a committee to form a committee. I mean, I think, but any sort of positive incremental step that moves the ball forward, I think, is good news coming out of that. The potential bad news would be if somehow those, larger market owners who, would prefer not to expand, if they're able to completely stall out this process and there's no update whatsoever in July, that's when I'd be worried as a Sonics fan.
All right, let's talk about the NBA Finals. Me personally, Kevin, I think it is over tonight. I think OKC rides the wave they created, and Williams dropping 40 the other day. You got SGA dropping 30 plus. Halliburton being hurt. It's a wrap for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that Halliburton piece of it is the toughest one for Indiana to overcome. My sort of expectation for tonight, we'll see, is that Indiana comes out with a lot of energy, really rides that home crowd. T.J. McConnell is someone who, as we saw in the second half of Game 5, can step up in a little bit larger role. But, you started trying to extend him too much if Halliburton isn't able to play at all or is really badly compromised. I think that's where, things start to fall apart. It's sort of the playbook that we saw from the Pacers in last year's conference finals against Boston when Halliburton missed time in that series. They were still competitive in those games, but Boston sort of just had too much down the stretch and outlasted them, and that's sort of what I'm expecting tonight.
It was really interesting to have the juxtaposition of the Stanley Cup finals with the same two teams from last year, and then in the NBA have a finals with what feels like maybe not completely new blood, but kind of a new story. What did you personally like most about these two teams in particular facing off?
Yeah, I think it was that element of kind of creating new stars for the league. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, it was kind of only a matter of time for him. You knew that this stage was coming. He was crowned MVP, and rightfully so based on the regular season. Tyrese Halliburton, a little more unexpected given the way that he started the season and had kind of a down playoffs last year. What now seems in hindsight like he was clearly dealing with injuries and wasn't 100%. But, it has been so many of the same faces, even though we're in this stretch where it's going to be the seventh consecutive consecutive season with a different champion for the NBA, that it's nice to see some new blood, although the fear is, I'm sure particularly in Seattle, that you're going to see Oklahoma City there a lot of times in the years to come.
I saw a theory on TikTok, where we get the best information, right? And it said that dynasties will no longer happen in the NBA. And the reasoning that they had was because, when Jordan was playing in the 90s, bigs were bigs, and he was able to play in the perimeter and get into the paint. And then you go, all right, well, nowadays, because bigs can do everything. They can dribble, they can shoot. You can't exploit a team the way you used to be able to do in the 90s and the early 2000s. So he essentially said the game has become so skilled that it's going to be hard to create these dynasties, because of just the attributes of the players. What do you have to say to that?
I think, it's probably, I think you could say it was somewhat similar when we had the Cavaliers and Warriors meeting in the finals 4 consecutive times during the Steph Curry, LeBron heyday. To me, the biggest factors are, number one, the financial element has been much discussed. The most recent collective bargaining agreement was really targeted at, we don't want teams to spend a lot of money and spend their way to titles, and that's going to make it more difficult to keep these groups together. The other element of it is, I think we're seeing a lot more unpredictability in the playoffs. and injuries in the playoffs are a big factor in that. Indiana was one of the most expected teams ever to make the NBA Finals, and we've seen several of those in recent years. If you go back to Miami doing it out of the play-in as the 8th seed a couple of years ago, Miami 3 years before that. Phoenix's rise unexpected in 2021. So I do think we're going to keep seeing that happen because of the combination of injuries and salaries. But, if you are going to put together a team to be a dynasty in this era, despite all those things, it does look a lot like Oklahoma City with the young talent that they have and then the number of draft picks they have to keep supplementing that core.
Kevin, I lied to you. I wanted to continue asking about the finals, but I do have one more expansion question. But the topic of spending made me remember a tweet that I saw from Bill Simmons, so I wanted to ask you about it. He mentioned as an offhanded comment when talking about the Lakers sale, it was like thrown in at the end of a tweet. We already know the expansion tag will be $6 billion. I remembered I wanted to ask you, is he right? Is that kind of what we're looking at now? I mean, when it comes to the financial aspect of this, what number feels right or sounds right?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I think that Celtics sale was really crucial to this whole process. If it would have come in at a number like $5 billion or $6 billion, because of the fact that the Celtics don't control their arena, the Bruins do, and some of those other factors, like it would have been tough to justify if the Celtics, one of the most legendary franchises in the league, are only worth around $5 or $6 billion. How is an expansion franchise worth the same amount? The fact that the Celtics sale did come in at a $7 billion valuation, I think, allowed them to realistically throw out that $6 billion number. I mean, it'll be interesting to see whether it's a set number and everybody's got to meet, so there's going to be individual negotiations. But Bill Simmons has generally been pretty plugged in this whole process. So, I'll defer to him on that.
Speaking of sales, we're sitting here anticipating possibly the sale of the Portland Trail Blazers. Have you heard anything on that?
It's been pretty quiet since that happened. It was interesting timing, especially because, it came shortly after Adam Silver had mentioned this, positive update in terms of expansion, which is the first time he really discussed, we're going to talk about this in July. And, I do think those sales are that sale was a little bit less related to expansion than the Boston one was, because it's pretty clear that a franchise in Portland is not worth as much as one in Seattle. But it's going to be interesting because if it's not Phil Knight, and he came out and said, he wasn't interested, and I don't think that Jody Allen was particularly interested in selling to him when, before that announcement, who it's going to be, who has that kind of money in Portland or would want to own a team in Portland is going to be fascinating to see. But it's been pretty quiet.
ESPN's Kevin Pelton, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. A lot to talk about, whether it's expansion talks, of course, Game 6 tonight. Kevin, thanks so much.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks as always for having me.
Have a good one. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, as we just talked about with ESPN's Kevin Pelton, the Lakers are being sold to Dodgers owner Mark Walter at a valuation of $10 billion. What's the real headline?
Bump, I'm sorry. That's more per ring than the Celtics, which is crazy when you think about it, because the Celtics have more championships than the Lakers, but they sold for less. Sold for less. That's pretty cool.
Greatness. Let's talk about greatness. Greatness is having one less championship, but going for $4 billion more.
Per
Why?
championship.
Because it's L.A. Nobody says, man, I can't wait to go on vacation in Boston, except for you one year.
I really enjoyed it.
No one says that.
Stacey made it her whole personality for like 2 weeks.
Everything becomes my personality.
She said, I was in the car.
Yeah.
Came back walking different, talking
how
different.
I just had that surgery, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, me, I'm a patient.
You're a survivor.
I'm a survivor.
Tummy ache survivor.
I made it through.
No, it's all good. Take the shots. It's all right, man, because end of the day, the Lakers will win another championship, and we'll get things going. But thankfully, Jenny Buzz is still making moves over there. I like that. She's like, listen, I'm done with all the other stuff. Just allow me to do what I do best, and we'll move forward. But it makes sense, man. Now the same guy owns the Dodgers and the Lakers. That's a boss move right there. I'm sure there's someone else out there that kind of controls their city like that. But to be the guy in LA that owns the two best teams is something special.
Did you feel slightly more optimistic about expansion after talking with Kevin? I did.
I mean, look, I'm sure when you guys are out, right, and people run into you, oh, Stacy, oh, Curtis,
No one
Bones.
recognizes me.
One of the things they ask, when are we getting a team? Like, I got all the information. I go, 2 to 3 years, man.
Yeah.
Well, they said that 2 to 3 years ago. Well, just live by that, 2 to 3 years.
No, people just ask me, where's Bump? And I'm like, what the? I don't know. With his kids at home? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's going to happen. I've always felt that it's Seattle and Vegas.
Yeah.
Those cities are lined up for a team. Has to be.
I ask a clarifying question. Kevin said it's maybe the smaller market teams that would be more hesitant to expand, right? Because there'd be more to split, or is it the larger market teams that don't want to share more?
Yeah, I think it's the larger ones because the smaller market teams get
I misunderstood
a
him.
chunk of what's going to be like what $10 to $12 billion from.
Wow, I really had a hateful question about OKC because I thought he said smaller market teams. Shame on me. Just kidding.
Nah, any hate towards OKC is deserved.
It's interesting though because and I'm glad Kevin talked about that a bit. It's just part of you wonders, like, what's it like behind the scenes? Like, if I could sit in on NBA owners' meetings and figure out where the discrepancy is. Is it 50-50? Is there, like, a holdup of a small group of ownership, a small group of owners that don't want to do this? Is it overwhelmingly in favor and it's just a slow process? Like, I wish I had that insight because I'd love to know. I'd love to have something more to cling to than parsing words from Adam Silver.
That's all you're going to get.
I know.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, it is a do-or-die Game 6 tonight for the Pacers against Oklahoma City. What's the real headline?
The Mariners didn't purposely throw this series against the Red Sox on purpose so that OKC could win tonight. No, we made a Seattle sacrifice. Knowingly.
It had to be done.
We could have won that series, but we chose not to so that the Pacers could take Game 6.
Too much power, too much talent over there with OKC. Got the MVP. James Williams is coming out of his shell. You got Chet over there as well. Bars. Pacers just don't have enough. They're a great overall team, but when it comes down to just shooters and guys who can create their own shot and get to the basket, that's OKC. It feels like they're destined for this. I'm sorry, Seattle. I feel for all of us as my computer just shuts down on me.
I heard that.
Yeah, it's a wrap over here, guys.
You got the blue screen.
Did you get the blue screen?
I got the blue. Now I got a white one. Critical error message. So no more stats from me. No more stats.
Thankfully, we only have a couple more minutes here. I'll go break a little
IT is
early.
out today because it's a holiday.
No. Okay, well, we'll hit break. You only have a couple more minutes. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Get up and turn it off. I'll do it while Bump's talking
Yeah,
here.
jiggle the mouse, Bub.
Okay,
That'll do it.
headline.
Headline number 3. Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders was cited in Ohio for going 101 in a 60-mile-an-hour zone. What's the real headline?
Not the first time we've seen Shedeur go in the hundreds.
Hey.
Okay, Bump, you have to buy me 30 seconds.
All right. I don't condone this behavior. It gets people hurt. It happens all the time. But are we surprised that these young men get money, get these cars, and go 100 miles an hour? It's irresponsible, but even if you don't have money, I know some good old boys in Snohomish County right now that are racing that truck up down that road right now about 120 miles an hour. Like, listen, it's
you
not
don't
right.
feel the bumps on a dirt road if you're going 100 miles an hour.
No, it feels like
that's just smooth driving.
It's like you're floating. It's like you got a race boat on ice. Okay, yeah, it's irresponsible. Hopefully he learns from it. I hear about it all the time. Unfortunately, just learn, I guess.
You guys did
I buy you 30? Is that good enough?
You guys did a fantastic job. I was like, I hope I don't suddenly put us off air, and then I how little I know about the boards.
I don't think there are any buttons in there that can take us off the air. Yeah.
Like my mom for a minute there. I was looking at the computer going, I hope this doesn't take us off the airwaves. Just Adele. All right, still to come. Taking a look around the NFL, we've got some really good sound from Daniel Jeremiah on Sam Darnold. Bump kind of teased to it a little bit. We talked about Jalen Milroe at 10:45. If you missed it, hour 1 of the Bump and Stacy podcast, all of his potential and like what if he could be a long-term answer. We're gonna have a similar conversation about Sam Darnold based on that sound from Daniel Jeremiah. We have Aquasox shortstop Colt Emerson joining us at 1 for the Farm Report Hype Train at 1:30. Really fun show. Go ahead and get your questions anytime over the next hour and a half here for what I need to know. 866 979-3776. I'm going to be collecting those all day. I know it's a holiday, so if you guys are just relaxing, hanging out, some questions about this upcoming Mariners series, question about the Seahawks offseason, non-sports questions, 866-979-3776. And also, I have a little read here I forgot to do. I'm going to get to it right now, I promise. Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. Together, we want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open now until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of her choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at woiseattle.org before the deadline. Taking a look around the NFL next.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. Not a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car thefts dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA Club World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, I just have to bring this in from the break that I can't believe Joe Burrow's never been an All-Pro. I didn't realize that.
Crazy.
Silly me. I mean, I know you put it
Crazy.
together and you go, okay. Well,
stupid. Hilarious.
It is. All right. Let me actually do my job. Take a look around the NFL. Yesterday's biggest NFL news was that the Ravens signing a free agent corner of Jair Alexander. ESPN's Field Yates spoke on it and why it's a great fit for both sides.
Not a frontline need in terms of starting a game tomorrow, needing him on the field for the very first snap, but this is a team that last year struggled to defend the pass. And Jair Alexander, the best part of this deal, in my opinion, is the fact that it is a one-year deal. This is a motivated player who, over the past 4 seasons, has been just as likely to be on the field as he is off the field. So Jair Alexander has a chance to play for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, does not need to be a starter because the Ravens feel really good about their starting trio of Nate Wiggins, their first-round pick last year, of course, Marlon Humphrey, and also Chidobe Awuzie, who they signed this offseason after he was released by the Titans. But the kind of move that the Baltimore Ravens can make in June, they can sort of be like a finishing ingredient for a team that feels like it has the recipe to be a Super Bowl champion this year.
The Ravens are like the Eagles, and sometimes they'll add players when, I don't know if it was just too much of a risk or just didn't happen for other teams, but they do it and you go, of course. They got even better, mostly because they didn't need them.
Yeah, exactly. When you have a team that is Super Bowl ready,
yeah,
and then you keep adding pieces, you just throw your hands up in disgust like, yeah, why wouldn't he want to go
why
there?
Did you let
why
them
wouldn't
do
this team get even that much better? But kudos to them. They have a system that works over there. The last 5 or 6 seasons have been good. They're reliable during the regular season. Just got to get over the hump. This isn't a move that gets you over the hump. There's a lot of things have to happen. Mark Andrews has to catch football. Lamar Jackson has to not fumble. Like, there are things that contribute to them not getting over the hump, but this definitely helps.
Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals have resumed contract talks, but ESPN's Adam Schefter says it doesn't mean progress is actually being made.
Talking is different than making progress. And in this particular case, they are talking, but it's hard to tell how much progress, if any, they're actually making so far. I think there's a disagreement on the length of the contract. The Bengals would like Trey Hendrickson to sign a short-term deal. Hendrickson would like some long-term security and the money that comes along with it. And so before you can figure out value, I think first you have to agree on the years, and the two sides have been unable to do that. So yes, they're talking. No, they're not making a lot of progress, but there's a lot of time between now and the start of training camp.
To be honest, I don't entirely blame the Bengals for not wanting to give him like a 5-year kind of contract. as long as you're padding on money to kind of make up for it. Like, ultimately, a player wants security and his money. If you can give him one of two.
Give him a 3-year contract.
Come on.
3-year contract. I think that's all it would take. 3-year contract with a big old signing bonus and some incentives in that thing, and then you can reevaluate. He might be one of the unicorns that play well into their mid-30s at that position and just keep going. But no, you have to protect yourself. The team has to protect themselves by signing a short deal. He has to protect himself by getting the most money he can right now, because this is probably his last opportunity.
Well, and he's got quite a bit of leverage. I mean, you could look at the Bengals and go, hey, your offense played like you had a couple of MVPs on it, and it wasn't good enough because I'm the best defensive player you have, and it's not close. Oh, and the guy that you drafted to try to make this transition from me easier isn't here.
You know what I'm doing if I'm him? Got a little notepad, write the note down, fold it, slide it across the table. They open it. It says, "You need me. You need me. Let's make this thing
this
work."
Is how much I'm thinking. It's just a blank check.
Yeah.
Sticking with some more reports from Adam Schefter here secondly, on where things stand between the Cowboys and Micah Parsons.
They've been ongoing, and the two sides have been talking throughout the offseason, and at some point, most people believe that there will be a deal that makes Micah Parsons the highest paid defensive player in NFL history, beating the deal that Myles Garrett got from the Cleveland Browns earlier this offseason. Parsons is entering the last year of a deal. Dallas wants to get a deal done. Parsons wants to get a deal done. He's already attended the offseason program, the mandatory minicamp, intimated that he would be at training camp. So I think that keeps the clear lines of communication open with the hope that both sides will work out what will be a historic deal.
Similarly, I think the Cowboys have very little choice but to keep Micah Parsons, and this feels like one of those stories that we'll all talk up and will inevitably just get done.
I like how Schefty sets the table. The biggest deal in NFL history happens every year, bro. It just happens every year. It is going to happen every year. I know that you got to gas it up. It's just timing. Micah's the next guy up, so he's going to get it, and good for him. He deserves it. He deserves, and even Myles Garrett said he deserves it. Myles Garrett said, man, pay that man more than me. What's he getting, like 30, 40 million a year? How much is Myles Garrett
Is it 40? I know that Jamar surpassed him, right?
I believe it's 40 for Myles Garrett.
That's crazy. $40 million a year.
I remember when, we can all say this about contracts. I remember when Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson were going back and forth. Was it 35-ish per year that would make them the highest paid quarterback and then the highest paid and just kind of
now you'd be like the 18th highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
That would be a bargain now, and it used to be you were the highest paid quarterback. That was not that long ago. What? I mean, less than 10 years it's got to be. Around probably closer to 7 or 8, but
hey, inflation.
Inflation.
It's real.
Inflation. Let me tell you what. Eggs and defensive end contracts. It's out of control.
DNs and QBs.
Recently retired Teron Armstead has some high praise for NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse.
Teron, you talked about I ain't putting the helmet back on. Give me the top 3 guys' reasons why. Okay, that you've gone up
All
against.
Right. This is a good
that
question.
You ain't putting the helmet back on.
No lie. Okay. I'm going to say number 1, he was a rookie from the Rams. That young boy, Jared Verse?
Yep.
I'm cool. I'm good. I never got to see that man again. I'm all right with I'm okay with that. Never seeing that young man again in my life.
Inevitable question. I'm so sorry for it. Should the Seahawks have taken Jared Verse?
Of course, hindsight. You know what? Hindsight. Yeah. I will conduct the perfect draft if I could. You know that it's so hard to say. End result, who knows? I mean, both these guys are young. We don't know where their career is going to go. Jared Verse is his position and his attributes are going to shine brighter than Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy's going to take on double teams to try to stop the run. It's a thankless position. So when you see a guy like Verse putting up the numbers that he's putting up, naturally you're looking and say, he probably should have went that direction. But that's not what the team needed, or that's not what John Schneider thought the team needed in that moment. Also, what I love about this clip is when guys retire, like they become so honest. Like when I was playing football, like you couldn't tell me I was the best. I retired, I go, yeah, man, I wasn't good enough, man. That dude was better. That dude was better. I love the honesty that comes with retirement.
What's something that you were only able to admit when you retired?
Yeah, just I wasn't good enough.
Just wasn't good enough?
I just wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
You know, in the moment, you have to convince yourself that you are, but at the end of the day, I was like, nah, this wasn't good enough.
Can I just, and this is, I'm not just backing you up as your friend, can I just say that whenever people try to, that guy's not good enough for the NFL, or like it's like 0.1% of 1% that actually becomes even what Jared Verse is doing this year.
Yeah.
Like, it's so incredibly rare and difficult that, like, the average person couldn't touch a practice squad.
No, they just make it look easy.
I know.
That's how
it's
great
unreal.
they are.
Absolutely unreal. Five-time All-Pro linebacker C.J. Mosley announced his own retirement from the NFL today after 11 seasons. The 33-year-old Mosley had been a free agent, after the Jets released him back shortly before the league year began. Congratulations, C.J. Mosley. Quite a career, and obviously now time to enjoy life after football. I always wonder if guys are going to get into analyst roles. Now podcasting is this whole new market for them.
That's what guys do, right? Podcasts, analyst roles. You start taking pictures of your kids, and then you elevate to the professional leagues. You become a super dad. You take all your kids. You become a coach. Isaiah Thomas is coaching his kids' AAU team. There's a lane, and the hardest part is finding that lane and being okay with it when you retire, because your identity has been one thing for the most of your life. So. I like when guys find their spot in their lane.
A question for all of us. Is there a player who's since retired from, I'll say football, but it could be any sport, that you're surprised didn't go in to become an analyst? Or you just think, I would love to hear him on color commentary for a game, but he never took that route.
I would say Larry Fitz, but he's in the mix. He's on the Amazon crew, right? Larry Fitz is on the Amazon crew?
Tony Gonzalez and Shermer.
Where did I see Fitz?
I know. Well, he does a lot of charity media stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one, though. That's a good one.
Yeah, I kind of thought Peyton Manning would do it. I mean, if the Manning cast counts, I guess. As an analyst.
I'll count it as, like, he had his own brand, so he was like, I'll stick with kind of.
I always thought he was going to be on a studio show somewhere.
Yeah.
Just because he's so popular and so well liked.
I'll hand it to a couple people, Romo and Brady included, that I did not think would be that great, that I ended up enjoying. I know not everyone likes them, but I ended up thinking they were pretty dang good.
Yeah, I thought Brady got better as the season went along, too.
Yeah.
He found his groove.
That was probably the most famous person, one of the most famous people I've seen, because he was on one of the games here, broadcast for one of the games here.
Yeah, it was
that was
mid-season game,
the most. That had to be the most security around someone walking through.
Oh, yeah.
Like a press box
Couldn't
area.
get close to that man.
Yeah, you couldn't. I mean,
I usually go into the TV booth if I know someone in there, and I knew someone in there who was with Tom. It was like, nah, bro, you ain't getting in. I'm like, but I got the credentials. I'm good. Anywhere in the stadium. Nah, not in here.
All right, let's talk about a quarterback that's actually here. Sam Darnold. Daniel Jeremiah, the latest on Sam Darnold with Brock and Salk. That's coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Talking about the Mariners' plan for the trade deadline. You think people are reticent to the minor leagues and trade some prospects? I know fans develop a connection to names they hear over and over. Often you don't see these guys. I don't know how many people are making trips out to Everett or out to Tacoma to watch the young guys, but there just aren't any sure things.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Do you have a car you want to sell, but you just don't want to go through all the hassle? I don't blame you. With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people just aren't comfortable selling their own car. So what do you do if you do want to get the most money for your car, but you don't want to sell it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your used car and pay you right up front for it, but once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most is, well, what's the catch? But there isn't one. Here's how it works. This program means that Wayscar Ford saves money by not traveling to buy cars at auction, which means not paying purchase fees, shipping fees, and travel expenses. Now they can just share that saved money with you, their customer, rather than outside vendors. It's a win-win. They encourage you to shop around, but look, if Wayscar Ford can pay the same or more as competitors and share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you go anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers. It's only at Wayscar Ford in Auburn, wayscarford.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Shannon Dreyer here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help in finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Values have to be within your leadership staff, right? And then that filters down into the rest of your staff.
We are together, we are a team, and without that thought process, you're sunk.
I still revert back to, if I work at a location and I'm willing to have my son work at this location, that should tell you a great deal. I didn't steer my son away, I steered my son to it.
They call it the Lee Johnson Auto family, and it's not just a name, it's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family.
As much as I'd love to think that they trust me, yeah, our family name is trusted, but it's because of those individual interactions with our people that those folks have had over the years. That's where they build their trust with the relationship.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Church's Chicken is bringing even more flavor to the neighborhood with our Bremerton location, and we can't wait to share what we've been cooking up. So stop by and try our bold, juicy, flavor-to-the-bone fried chicken with all our only at Church's Fixins. Yeah, your newest fave is waiting with unbeatable deals and unmistakable crunch right here at the Church's Chicken in Bremerton on 4000 Wheaton Way. That's right. Come on down. Friends, family, and neighbors welcomed at 4000 Wheaton Way in Bremerton. See you soon. Church's.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, earlier in the show, we talked about the potential with Jalen Milroe. That's going to be in hour 1 of Bumpin' Stacy when the podcast is uploaded around 3 p.m. Right now, we're going to take a listen on the latest from Daniel Jeremiah. He's got some stuff on Sam Darnold. We're going to get to a couple other Seahawks topics here. But first, on Darnold, he's not being paid quarterback competition money, DJ says. He's the starter.
This was not really competition money for Sam, even if it's not long-term. It's not competition money coming in the door. He's going to be fine. Look, I've seen some clunkers over the years at some of these mini camps. I remember gosh, it wasn't minicamp, it was training camp, right? Remember Jamar Chase dropped like 4 or 5 balls in a practice, and that was like the story, you know, that he was a bust after a training camp practice. So it is ironic, though, but that you might have been at the one place where there wasn't, you know, complete and 100% optimism about the quarterback play, because when I talk to buddies and just that time of year, and you talk to people at all these different teams, it's always, you know, whether the quarterback's coming off a great year, a poor year, whether he's young or old, it's always like, man, quarterback's locked in. He's ready to go. A lot of positivity. Yes. Unless Salk's at your practice, then it's all the world is coming to an end.
Oh, shot at Mike. Look, I get, again, and you and I both did, why Mike was asking, because a lot of listeners were, frankly. But Daniel Jeremiah says, look, if it's not being settled for you when you're looking at the field, look at the investment either team made, or the investment the team made.
The rule in the NFL is you play who you pay, right? There was a time where I was killing that practice. I mean, legit, probably worked my way up to like the 3rd receiver off of performance, feeling good about the week. They're like, hey, man, Deion's healthy, so we're going to deactivate you and put you on the practice squad.
Salty.
But that's the business, is that you have to give your investments a chance, and you give your higher investments more chances over your lower investments. So, yes, Sam Darnold can throw left-handed and throw 5 interceptions tomorrow. He is going to be the starter. Now, we get to week 12, 13, 14. That's a bit different. There's no competition at the quarterback spot. And I think DJ made that clear here, and I think that McDonald made it clear when Mike asked the question.
We're going to go now, DJ, talking about how Clint Kubiak's offense has a rhythm and how it'll help Sam Darnold.
That's what is you know, obviously from his family. You know, people talk about the trees that you're under and what coaches you've worked for. How about the family you grew up in? That's what that looked like. So I think Sam's that way. I know I read an article this morning talking about the importance of Sam getting the ball out, you know, of all the sacks that he took late in the year. The 2 takeaways I had just from going back and thinking about those games was, number one, I don't know how many quarterbacks are going to not take sacks in that Rams game with the way they got destroyed up front. The other thing was legitimate, which is I do think, you know, you want to hunt explosives, and sometimes that can take time, and sometimes you have to have some sacks in order to get explosive plays. But I think Sam is at his best when he's a back foot, you know, one hitch and get the ball out. Like when he does that and he plays and finds himself in that kind of rhythm, I think that's when he's at his best. And I think that really goes back to USC. You know, when he tried to get outside of the scheme a little bit, yeah, he can do that. He's a good athlete, but I don't think that's when he's at his best.
Do you see the same thing, that like when he gets into that rhythm, which I know you'd say for any quarterback, but maybe for Sam in particular, that he's at his best?
Yeah, there are some quarterbacks who can be on rhythm, and some quarterbacks who could improvise a little bit. And those quarterbacks are Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. You know, like they just have the physical capabilities to keep plays alive that way. And there's something in their mind that allows them to still diagnose what's going on. I think that because we've only seen one season of Sam Darnold play at a high level, he's got to stay within the scheme. There's going to be times where you have to improvise, roll out, throw the ball away, or try to make a play. But he's got to go through the progression, high to low, inside to out, 1 to 2 to 3 to backside, check down. Like he is a process-driven type of guy. And I think once he gets the process down at an elite level, that's when you're able to improv a little bit, because you're not worried about protection. You know that you're covered. You're not worried about the concepts. You know what's going on to your right side, even though you're looking left. You're not worried about the defense making adjustments because you've watched so much film and understand how they're going to react to things. You know where the holes in the defense are going to be. To me, he's just not there yet. And now he's shown that he can do it. You don't throw 35 touchdowns on accident, but he's only done it 1 year. So the processing, I think, once that is sharpened up, that's when you're able to make great plays. Some guys are just better athletes than anyone on the field that can do that. Sam hasn't shown that he can, year after year, go through the process, and he's just not the best athlete on the field.
How does an OC help? Like, how does Clint help Sam stay in rhythm? Because part of it's just on Sam. Part of it's like, hey, you've got to know the playbook, and you've got to be able to recognize things after a while. But how does an OC help?
You just simplify it. You know, there were I'll give an example. So when I was a high school coach, I'm talking to my quarterback, and I'm talking about, okay, this is where you go with the football when you see the defense do this. You get your pre-snap read, then you got your read during your drop, and you're reacting to the defense. And I'm watching him go through this process, and I'm saying that's not going to work for him. There's too much going on for him. So now I'm just going to teach him this is where your eyes go during this play. You go to inside out, you go to outside in, you go to high to low, you go to low to high as far as your concept goes. And once I explained it to him like that, he started picking the defense apart. So how can Kubiak help Sam Darnold is to explain things in a way that just clicks for him, whether that's the progression, key words, this is where your eyes go when you see this. And obviously, I did that on the high school level. At the pro level, you should be able to give your quarterback more than Jaden Pruitt at Monroe High School, who was probably my smartest quarterback, my least talented but smartest quarterback who won us a lot of games. So that's how he makes things easier for him. How do I get him to diagnose what's going on and go through his reads in a way to where he doesn't feel rushed? How do I get him to understand, which he probably does for the most part, how to protect themselves with the offensive line, whether it be sliding the protection, sending the back the other way? Those are the things that Kubiak does as a coordinator to help Sam Darnold.
There's some really good sound on whether or not the Seahawks should trade Trey Hendrickson that I didn't get to. It'll be on the Brock and Salk podcast. It's the interview with Daniel Jeremiah, and depending on what ends up happening with Trey Hendrickson over the weekend, maybe we get to a couple trade scenarios on Monday. The 2025 MLB All-Star Ballot is open. Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote up to 5 times per day, every day through June 26 at MLB.com/vote. From Seattle to Everett, let's talk with Aquasox shortstop Colt Emerson next.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Breaking news for the people of Boomtown. With Xfinity Mobile, the Wi-Fi is booming, at home and on the go.
And an upgrade storm's on the way.
That's right. And with Xfinity Mobile Premium Unlimited, you can upgrade your phone when you want, up to 2 times a year.
Now, once customers catch wind of the guaranteed new device discount, it'll be the biggest upgrade storm in history.
Wow. Let's hear from our weatherman on the scene.
How's it looking out there, Rick?
Well, Bill, the Wi-Fi is still booming.
Now through September 30th, existing Xfinity Internet customers can get an unlimited line included for a year. Plus, ask how to get a free 5G phone. Learn more at XfinityMobile.com. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Unlimited line offer requires Xfinity 300 megabit internet or above. Taxes, fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds vary.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Rare and luxurious 100 years of exceptional automobiles is currently on display at LeMay, America's Car Museum. Feel the thrill of racing simulators. It's excitement for all, and out-of-town visitors will love it. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
In a new record sale, the Buss family sold majority ownership of the Lakers for a franchise valuation of $10 billion, most ever for a U.S. team. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne reports Jeannie Buss will remain the Lakers' governor and continue to run the team for at least a number of years. The Panthers might have celebrated a little too hard following their second consecutive championship. The Stanley Cup is dented. Can't be the first time. Congrats to the Panthers, who, yes, will have the cup prepared before the parade on Sunday.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. The next pitch, swing and a high fly ball. Colt Emerson tags it to right field, and this clears the berm. A no-doubt smash by one of the game's top prospects. Colt Emerson leaves the yard. It's a one-run game.
Mariners' top prospect and Aquasox shortstop Colt Emerson joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Colt, how's it going?
It's going good. Thank you for having me on.
We're happy to have you. You're coming off your first 4-hit game of your pro career last night. Is it weird if I ask, like, which at-bat was your favorite? Like, is there a moment where you genuinely thought, I didn't know if that one would be a hit?
Thankfully, every one of them yesterday were split a gap or were hit hard enough to be able to get down where I was thinking two out of the box. But I'd say my favorite has to be the home run. Last night, just because of, I was early on the fastball. It was a 0-1 count early on a fastball, and then they threw a 12-6, and I was able to stay back and put some true backspin down the line, and almost hit the foul pole on the right field because the day before I hit a home run off the foul pole oppo, and then this one was pulled. So it was just cool to be able to use the whole field, really.
When you're in the zone like that, what is it like? Is the spin on the ball super slow? You're seeing the release point. Like, what does it feel when you're connecting the way you have been?
It all comes down to just like truly being committed to the fastball. Thankfully, I've been blessed with good enough eyes to be able to see spin on the ball. So I know if I'm able to stay committed on that fastball, I'm able to adjust to any off speed.
Colt, you are 19 years old, right?
Yeah.
Your 19-year-old experience is very different than I think most people's. Now, among your teammates, you guys have very similar experiences, and you go through a lot of shared experiences and the same things. But I think a day in your life is probably very different than what most people are used to. So what's a day in your life like? Like yesterday, right? Like, what was your day like? How did it start? How did it end?
It's pretty much Groundhog Day every single day for at least me, really, just because I like to stay consistent on what I do. Pretty much eating the same thing. It all starts with breakfast. They say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I like to start with breakfast, like eggs, sausage, cheese, hash brown, just all mixed into one, just something like that around the same lines as that, and then. You go to the field, bus times are at the same time every day. Go to the field, and then you just stretch, get some prep in. I get a coffee every day from Starbucks, so I drink my coffee. And then we hit it out, go to the cages, and then come back in, field ground balls, and then go out to stretch once everybody's done. And then field more ground balls, and then hit on the field, and then we're rolling into game time. So it's pretty much the same every day, but it kind of has to be like that.
Yeah, and
I don't stay consistent on the field.
I don't blame you. I know that we've asked. I mean, it doesn't change when you get to the pros. I remember like years ago, a reporter asked Bobby Wagner, like, "What do you eat every day?" And he was like, "The same thing at the same time." So it's very similar. But so we'll go the opposite direction. If every day is kind of Groundhog Day, which it probably has to be. Are you ever able to break it up? Like, do you and the guys ever go golfing or check out a movie or anything?
Yeah. Sunday nights, because we got off days on Mondays, and depending on whether we're home or we're traveling on Monday, we like to get together as a team and hang out. Like especially away trips here, we'll play poker and stuff like that, and just really have each other's company. We all got roommates and stuff, but this is a team full of great guys, and we all love being around each other. So very thankful, and it's just great being a part of this team.
You've done something a lot of people haven't been able to do, obviously, in your baseball career. But I want to go back to 2017 and 2022. Man, you represented your country in the Baseball World Cup. How's the intensity in situations like that, even at a young age? What was that experience like?
Wow, those experiences just gave me just a lot of experience into what I'm doing now, and has helped me get to where I am now. And back then, like in 2017, I was 12 years old. And I mean, you get shipped off to Taiwan. My family's here, but they're staying in a different hotel. I get a roommate when I'm 12 years old. Like, you think of a roommate, you get an itinerary. Like normal 12-year-olds aren't really doing that, and it's just like it was such a cool experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And we ended up winning the gold medal, and just having that. Not necessarily the adversity, but there was some adversity with being away from your parents for the first time and having a roommate, like just a guy you don't really know that well. I mean, and we're both 12, you're just trying to get to practice every day. You're just doing it because you love the game. And to go over to Taiwan, win a gold medal, and play those games has just been amazing. And then 2022, 18U national team, that was such a great group of guys too. And being a part of that team and playing a different position that I normally play, third base, was just not necessarily an eye opener, but just a great new experience, And I'm just so thankful to have those opportunities, just because they just made me who the player I am today.
I just can't believe at 12 doing that. I mean, you mentioned as part of your answer, not like a normal experience. And I'm thinking of myself at 12. I was making like microwave nachos and watching Unsolved Mysteries on the couch. Like it is, it's such a, it's just wild how quick you have to grow up. And I know that part of it's a blessing that you're grateful for, right? And you want to do this and you have to work hard. But do you feel like you've had to kind of fast forward growing up a bit, or that it's helped you mature faster?
Well, yeah, I have, but at the end of the day, I mean, you got to choose your priorities. You know. I mean, as tough it is. I mean, I'm not going to look back when I'm 45 years old
and be like, shame on
me, and say, man, I wish I would have played more wiffle ball when I was 12 years old. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just thankful for every opportunity that I've gotten, and especially at a young age, and it's made me who I am today. So I'm very grateful for it.
So I haven't seen this from you, but word on the street is that you've added a toe tap to your approach in the batter's box. Tell me about that, and how did you? What made you add this to your game?
I started off the season not necessarily purposely doing a leg kick. It was just kind of like when I was younger. I had a tiny leg kick, and then it kind of progressively like got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it just got a little too big. And I started off the season, I wouldn't say slow, but not how I would like it, and just make the small adjustment of, don't chase as much and put the ball in play and hit line drives. And feel like with the toe tap, it's just a good way to stay back and simple movements and small movements to where I'm able to get the barrel to the ball easier. Really, that's it. And there's videos from, I don't even know, even early spring training last year where I had the toe tap, but I wasn't necessarily thinking about it. And now just like making that adjustment, it's tough when guys are throwing, 97 and then they got a 80-mile-per-hour curveball. It's just tough to stay back and stay stacked, and I was just having trouble staying stacked on my backside. And I felt like the toe tap just allowed me just to stay back on my backside and be able to adjust better.
Colt, you made a fashion decision for your team, which I can respect. Tell us about those 90s era Mariners turtlenecks you brought for you and your teammates.
Well, I can't take the credit for it, because it's our mental skills person, Kellen. He had it in spring training. He bought one in spring training off of eBay, and he was wearing it around. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like, because I wore one I wore a turtleneck in high school. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. I was like, I need one of those. So I went on eBay and bought one. And then after that, Ty got one. Then they started popping up everywhere. Then I was like, wow. I mean, it's a cool look. It's a really cool look. I wish it never went away. 'Cause, Chipper Jones, like Ichiro, it's such a good look.
Oh yeah, you're taking me back, man. When I was in high school, baseball we wore the turtleneck, and football we wore the turtleneck, and we thought we were so clean. So
did you ever bring anything back though?
No, because they're bringing our stuff back.
That's true.
When I was early 2000s, we weren't bringing the 80s and 70s back.
No, the 90s just were a better era of clothing.
Yeah, it's better. So you're from Ohio, so I assume you are a LeBron guy. Is that correct?
I'm not much of a basketball guy, I will say. I'll be honest. I don't get into too much NBA.
What other sports do you like or watch?
I love Ohio State football.
Okay, the Ohio State. So you're familiar with Emeka, who got drafted to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's a local guy. He's from Washington. So you got some representation. In Ohio State from here.
Let's go.
Yeah,
love it.
What's the team like, man? Because baseball is you guys spend a lot of time together, man. Lots of time. And then at your level, you see guys get called up and sent back down. But how would you describe the camaraderie of this team?
Wow, I feel like I say this every interview, but these guys are just they're great players, but even better people, I like to say, and it's very true. Like the camaraderie in this team is just amazing, and I feel like the success we've had this year is just a testament to that. And I love showing up to the field every single day because the energy is just great, from the managers to the players to the mental skill staff to whoever it is, whoever's there. I mean, the energy is just great, and this organization has so many great people. But just it's such a blessing coming to the field every single day with this team, and the guys on this team are just great. You know, from Lazaro to Michael. Anthony, Ike, just Pags, just all these guys, you know, it's all. I feel like just the success we have is just a testament to these guys, really.
What's something that a teammate's done that's really impressed you? If you were just to show him love, right? Like maybe he had just a phenomenal outing, or out of the bullpen, or a start, or at the plate, or whatever it was, where you were like, oh my God, like I'm just watching this guy. He's my teammate, but he's just on one right now.
I mean, first of all, what comes to mind is, the no-hitter. I mean, we had 2 weeks ago, you know, Ryan Hawks, Charlie Bielenson, and Stephon Wraith. They all combined for a no-hitter, and that was amazing. I think that was one of my first no-hitters I've been a part of, which is great. And to be able to go do that with them is just great. Just watching those guys deal is just amazing. And another one is just watching. I mean, we got 2 guys on track for 30 home runs this year, with Michael Arroyo and Lazaro Montes. You know, like just seeing those guys go up to bat every single day and just competing, and then just seeing the home runs and the power those guys have is it's incredible. Really, it's electric to watch. And you know, there's just so much electricity on this team. It's just so fun to play with.
You have any brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I got an older brother and a younger sister.
Are they athletes as well?
Yeah, my older brother just got done playing his 5th year college baseball at Belmont Abbey in North Carolina, and my sister, she is going to be a junior in high school. She's a volleyball player.
Oh, so where do you guys get your athleticism from, mom or dad, or maybe both?
I'd say for the guys at least, is dad, just because he was a baseball player too. But I'd say my sister got a mix of my mom and dad for sure.
Hey, what would it mean for you to play in this year's All-Star Futures game?
Oh man, you know, it would be amazing. It would be one of those things where you just have to be so grateful for it, you know. Yeah, I mean, it would be such a surreal thing, you know. I've seen it growing up, watching guys in the past years go do it and have such a great time. You know, I would be so grateful and just so happy to go out there and represent the Mariners.
He is a Mariners top prospect, Colt Emerson, part of this Aquasox team. That Everett team, you guys, is absolutely phenomenal, loaded with talent. I mean, you heard Colt talking about his teammates. Also, Colt, pretty impressive player. So make sure you get out there and watch him. Thanks so much, Colt.
Thanks, Colt.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
I didn't ask a single question about Gen Z lingo.
You should have. He's the perfect
The impression I got from Colt is, I didn't know if I thought he'd be a little too nice, and he'd be like, you can say whatever you want to say. I need an honest, I need us to find the most honest minor league player who's going to be like, you can't say that. Or like, you need to say this instead. I just need to know if I can still say twin and bestie.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Well, but they do it. They do it on Love Island. Hey, twin.
Yeah, but they're 24.
Hey, twin.
25. I'm still saying stuff. Oh, that was dope. That's what I say. That's tight.
Didn't you say your kids are claiming it? They're like, no, we don't say that anymore.
No,
you're like, never.
My kids.
What was the word?
You know what they call girls and guys that they don't like are attracted to or associated with? Huz.
What? This is a brand new word I've never heard.
And guys. My son was like, yeah, the huz was on me. I go, whoa. What you talking about, huz? That's too close. Too close to the other word, son. What are you talking about? He goes, huz, like just the opposite gender. I go, so guys are huz too? He goes, yeah, girls can say, yeah, the huz are out today. Huz. Had me jacked up. I thought it was cursing low key. Thought it was cursing. What you doing, son? I know we cool, but we ain't that cool.
Kids are too much.
I just need to ask the Bumpus kids what to say.
That's where I learned from.
Yeah, I just need to be like, so can I do this? Like, when do I need to stop? I'll never stop. I'll never stop. Okay, twin, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, bestie. Who would a luxury player be for the Seahawks?
All right. Context, Stacy, enter the chat.
Okay, so Bill Barnwell has a great article on ESPN where he details the best luxury players for different teams. And by that, he means maybe a guy that's like a great blocking tight end or a really cool slot corner, a really versatile player, or a guy who excels at a position that not every team is going to excel at.
Perfect. So the luxury player for the Seahawks this year, the potential to be that guy, is Elijah Arroyo. And the reason why he's a luxury player is because he's a tight end who can be attached to the line of scrimmage, who can be in the slot, and can be outside of the X or the Z position. Those guys are rare. We saw Jimmy Graham do it at times. George Kittle does it from time to time, but there's no real tight ends that have that type of versatility. So I wonder how they're going to use this young man. I hope they put him everywhere. Put him in the backfield, too. We know how Kubiak likes to use his tight ends. He is a luxury. You don't find guys like this all the time. Noah Fant, his best year here, 500 yards. That's the 9th most by a tight end. With the way that Arroyo can be moved around, I see him passing that up. Maybe not this year, but probably next year. If he can just get better at blocking to be a solid blocking tight end, then he keeps the defenses guessing. So the luxury player, potential luxury player for the Seahawks on offense is Elijah Arroyo.
I like it. Second down. Last season produced just one rookie running back with 1,000 yards. Will that be the case in 2025?
No, I think there will be at least 2, maybe 3. The first one is Ashton Genty, of course, with the Raiders. He's the #1 RB over there. I think either Sampson or Juggins with the Cleveland Browns will pass a forward and be the guy over there. But I also think Scatterboo can have 1,000 total yards. He is teamed up with Tracy, who had 1,000 yards last year, the only rookie running back to have 1,000 yards last year. I think with that combination, it's going to be a nice one, too. So I think there could be 2 and maybe 3 running backs over 1,000 yards, with Scatterboo being all-purpose yards. I love what he brings to the table there. But this was a great year for running backs. 25 running backs drafted this year. They were projected around 25 to 30. And this is a position that we're seeing teams really go to a 1-2 combo, not just handing the football off to Derrick Henry every single snap, which the Ravens will do because he's that type of back. But there's going to be a lot of versatility in this group, adding to the rookie groups from last year. I see 2 running backs, possibly 3 all-purpose.
Third down. What's something you're hearing about Jalen Milroe that you like?
Yeah, it was some quotes from, I think, John Schneider, maybe Mike McDonald, somebody over there with the Seahawks off of Sports Illustrated, and they are committed to bringing him along slowly. And that means not putting him in high leverage situations. If something were to happen to Sam Darnold, he goes down, it's fourth quarter. Don't expect to see Milroe in that position early. This is why you have Drew Lock. We've watched Drew Lock at OTAs and minicamp, and he looks good. And we've seen him put together drives and win ball games for this team. I like this for the Seahawks. I like it even better for Milroe because they're low-key banking on him being the next guy up. We'll see how this pans out. Will it be next year? If Sam doesn't get it done, will it be the year after that? But either way, it's about nurturing and protecting this dude. What you don't want to do is put him out there early and have him second-guessing himself. The thing we keep hearing about this guy, well, we heard it from Schneider earlier, the wow and the whoa throws. You want him to keep that edge. Once you lose your edge in the NFL at any position, you're done. They're going to get rid of you extremely quickly, okay? So just make sure he's ready for the moment because he has all the physical. Now it's about the mental and tighten up a few things. So I love that I keep hearing that. They're not just going to throw him out there and say sink or swim. That's why you have Drew Lock.
Fourth down. Let's talk about the other quarterback here. How does Sam Darnold plan to improve this season?
He was quoted by saying, it's so simple, but you are happy that he has the self-awareness to acknowledge this. He said he wants to get the football off quicker. He wants to just take the checkdowns. He wants to throw it in the dirt when it's not there. He wants to have better pocket presence because when you watch him struggle, the games that he did struggle, those are the things that he struggled with. You would assume that teams are going to watch the film from last year. They will attack him, right? They will get after him and force him to make a difficult throw. Sometimes 3rd and 5, you can't pick up the first down. You're in enemy territory. Throw it in the dirt, kick the field goal, or let your punter, the best punter in the game, pin these guys back. So it sounds like it's decision-making. The national analysts we speak to, and they talk about Sam Darnold, they said he will turn the football over. He is turnover prone. He's going to turn the football over. No quarterback who is a starter full-time is not going to turn the football over. Less limited. Last year, he threw 12 interceptions, had 35 touchdowns. I'm not asking for 35, but I'm asking for less than 12. If he can do that, I think he should be okay. But the first step is acknowledging it, and he did it publicly. He didn't have to do that. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of room to discuss what Sam Darnold could do here and how he could grow. And I overlook that conversation a lot, admittedly. Not only do I tend to be a pessimistic person, but there's just so much we've seen from Sam Darnold that leaves us with questions as opposed to exclamation points.
Yeah.
Right? There's last year, which was phenomenal. And unfortunately for him, he ended the season rough. And that's okay. It was his first time experiencing that kind of high-profile play and high-pressure play. But I'm realizing that so much of the questions that I ask you or that we ask guests are, hey, how does Sam Darnold try to be as good as last year? Instead of like, where can he step forward and grow?
Yeah.
So maybe I need to shift that and start looking at the ways where it's like, well, what does a great offensive line mean for Sam Darnold?
Means
what if
protection.
the run? Yeah, right? Like, what if Clint Kubiak is also a great pairing for him? We were giving Kevin O'Connell a ton of love, rightfully so, but what if Clint actually works here in Seattle?
Yeah.
It's just manifesting.
Where's your vision board?
It's just manifesting. Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
It's Game 6 of the NBA Finals tonight. Seattle sports will join In Progress immediately following Wyman and Bob at 6 p.m. And the NBA Finals Game 6 leadoff hype train coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Talking about the Mariners' plan for the trade deadline. You think people are reticent to the minor leagues and trade some prospects? I know fans develop a connection to names they hear over and over. Often you don't see these guys. I don't know how many people are making trips out to Everett or out to Tacoma to watch the young guys, but there just aren't any sure things.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Tyrese live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same, and that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services, from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical, to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfer is available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit Earnin.com for full details.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, coming up in 15, it's What I Need to Know. Get your questions, any question in now, 866-979-3776. Right now, let's head to the station for Hype Train. Tonight, Game 6 of the NBA Finals. OKC looking to win it all, but oops, they won't. That's your first Hype Train. Pacers force Game 7. Bump.
I'm not going to say what everyone in Seattle wants me to say, okay? I am just going off of my observations. Halliburton is hurt. Even if he goes out there, he's not 100%. My man looks shook. Siakam doesn't have enough. OKC has firepower for days. They have a safe with artillery that the Pacers just can't rock with at this point. They smell water in the blood.
Water in the blood.
And it's a wrap tonight. It's over. It's over, guys.
Pacers force Game 7. Bump, unfortunately and reluctantly, not able to board this train, saying, I fear it's over. OKC's taking this one. They just got too much going on. Curtis, are you boarding this train? If you are, it means you're taking the Pacers to win tonight. Just in case anyone forgot what my Hype Train was.
Oh, we are boarding this train. I will allow no other option. We're boarding this train. I can't even allow myself to think about an OKC title. So that's why I'm saying the Pacers force a Game 7. Now, will they win the series even if it goes to a 7th game? Likely not. But hey, tonight no banner gets raised, no trophy gets held up.
None.
Not on my watch.
not this shift, but the next shift.
Yeah, that's right.
The next shift.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Not tonight. Maybe Sunday, but not tonight.
Probably Sunday.
Yeah.
Probably Sunday, but not tonight. bumps alone on this train. Next type train into the station. Okay, well, we saw the first trade of MLB season, that being Rafi Devers going to the Giants. It'll probably end up being the biggest. Will the Mariners get in on the action? That's our hype train. The Mariners will make a trade before July 1st.
The Mariners right now are William Wallace. You know who William Wallace is?
Braveheart?
Braveheart.
Hey,
But he died.
Good job. Now let me finish.
Okay, I got scared.
We're skipping too far ahead,
All right.
Stacy.
You know, back in the day when they fought, they used to run at each other. So efficient, right? They used to just run at each other. And William Wallace had his guys make these 30-foot long stakes. And when those horses were running at him, they wanted to pick up the stakes. They wanted to pick it up. And he's saying, hold. That's what the Mariners are doing. They're looking at everything that's going on around them and saying, look, there's nothing else out there for us right now. Let's hold. Let's hold and let's hold. And then the day before the trade deadline or the day of, they will make a move. So I'm going to say, no, it's not happening.
The Mariners?
No trains for me so far.
Make a trade before July 1st. Bump is not boarding. Curtis?
I'm not boarding either. I don't see it happening before July. The next 12 days, I don't think it happens, especially because, you're now 5 back in the AL West? Like, you're going to have to make up some ground to justify a trade like that at this portion of the schedule. Yeah, I don't see it happening before July 1st, so I'm not boarding that train.
Yeah, I know that they have made trades before July 1st. And I know I would like them to, but I think we have no one aboard this one, unfortunately. Next type train in, I'm sticking with the Mariners for this one. We know that Cal's going to be an all-star. Not only should he be, it would be egregious for him not to, but he's second in American League vote getters right now with over 1 million. So he will be the starter. 2 Mariners become all-stars. Bump.
Yeah,
Julio's, I think,
messed
like
this
8th
up
or
last
9th.
time. I messed this up last time. I forgot about Munoz. I don't know where Munoz is. Everybody know where Munoz is with that? No. Yeah, I think think too.
That won't be decided until the AL manager picks the rest of the roster.
So
Pitchers
you
are
could
decided
still be right. We just don't know.
All right, I'm going to go 2. I think Julio has enough star power to sneak in that thing.
Mhm.
And I think Munoz has enough respect to get in that thing.
Okay.
So we're going 2 minimum.
2 Mariners minimum will become all-stars. Curtis, are you boarding? Bump is?
I'm going to board as well. And I think a third sneaks in there. And I think it's down to JP and Julio. I think just based off of how there's just not really good outfield play in the American League right now, especially in center field. I think Julio has an easier path to make the all-star team. I wonder if JP is part of that fan vote that they always do in the days after the team gets unveiled. I think so too. I mean, gosh, he's 3rd on base, nearly a 300 batting average, playing shortstop. Yeah, he's definitely been great this season. The problem is that the American League shortstop's pretty deep. Jeremy Pena, Jacob Wilson, some other guys thrown in there. So it's not going to be easy for JP to make the all-star team. Not as easy as it would be for Julio.
Yes, I'll board along with you guys. Same reasons. Next up. I asked you guys off the air, just how we waste time during commercial breaks. I was like, would you give up coffee and alcohol for life for $1 million? And you both said, yeah, I do that. I said, would you give up sugar for life for $1 million? And you guys were like, yeah, no problem. And then I said, would you give up meat for life for $1 million? And you guys both paused.
We paused.
For a long time. That's
Yeah.
not the one I thought would get you, but it's your next hype train. Just a fun one in here. You'd give up meat for life for $1 million in your pocket right now today.
Here's the thing. I did that
comes the
before.
reasoning.
I did that before for
You were
like 6
vegetarian?
months. Yeah, for like 6 months. And I was miserable, man. I tried the Impossible meat. I was miserable. But then you look at gorillas, man, they're the strongest things walking this earth, and they don't eat meat. Not consistently, at least. You know, if there's some clan battles, they might eat the ops every now and then. But typically,
They got whey protein
don't,
powder,
They don't
maybe?
eat meat. You know, they stay away from 95%.
How are they so buff?
It's protein. There's protein in plants too. So
Oh.
that inspires me. Okay, so for $1 million, I would do it. It'd be tough. I'd be angry all the time. I'd be angry all the time.
You'd probably be healthier.
Yeah, definitely be healthier.
Yeah.
No parasites and all that stuff.
Plant-based diet for everything, all day, every day.
Elephants, gorillas.
Both really strong.
Yes, and smart.
Lots of aura.
Lots
Is
of
that
aura.
how it works?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. The aura's crazy. Brady's so embarrassed. You give up meat for life for $1 million in your pocket today.
$1 million in my pocket
Bump is boarding
today.
this train, and he said, look at gorillas and elephants. Look how they did it.
Well, if I get that money today, then yes, I'm boarding that train, because I'm looking at it like that's money for my kids' college. That's money for like a down payment on a house. You could even buy a house with that money. Like, yeah, $1 million in my pocket today, no more meat. Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, it can't be waiting. It can't be like, oh, next month.
Yeah, you can't take it. I want the lump sum.
Yeah, no, it's.
I don't want like a $50,000 payment every year for like.
No, you get $1 million
50,
today,
yeah.
untaxed. Like you have $1 million.
Then yes, yeah.
You just
boarding
could
that
never,
train.
ever in your life have meat.
Yeah. What if you do? You gotta
pay it back.
Then you die.
Wow. You just drop dead right there.
I'm just making up the rules as I go. Then you die.
This is like playing a game with my kids where they just continually make up the rules. It's like, that wasn't a rule to start.
Oh, my sister hates it because part of why I came up, the hype train idea was in part from, I think I used to do this to Bump all the time too during breaks. It's like, okay, would you rather?
Yes.
And then it would be one of two would you rathers. And then I would keep adding on. So it's like, would you rather have $1 million or never eat meat again? And maybe Bump says $1 million. And I said, okay, but what if you couldn't even have fake meat? And then it'll be, okay, I'll take, like being able to have meat. Okay, but what if that's all you could eat?
I've seen bodybuilders that are plant-based.
How? I mean, okay, I shouldn't say that. I understand how bodybuilders, because you're just having a ton of artificial protein or maybe plant-based protein from like powders, right? Like you're having protein powders and supplements. I don't understand a lot about gorillas. I especially don't understand how they can be so yoked without eating other animals.
Their genetics a bit different than ours, but
I mean, not that much.
I'm
going to do some Googling.
Careful.
I'm going to do some Googling during the break. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Rare and luxurious 100 years of exceptional automobiles is currently on display at LeMay, America's Car Museum. Feel the thrill of racing simulators. It's excitement for all, and out-of-town visitors will love it. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Allergy and sinus symptoms are annoying. They're frustrating and can ruin an entire day.
They're also curable. I'm Dr. Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We can free our patients of awful symptoms by testing and treating their allergies to simple, non-invasive treatments. Stop suffering from nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, facial pain, and even snoring. Let us help you get relief. Easily, quickly, and permanently. We're local in Federal Way and in Auburn. Come see us or book your appointment at sternsinus.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Stacy Rost here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at WOISeattle.org. That's WOISeattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots and not getting the long-term results you really want? This is Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 4,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Did he just say Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is half the cost and works twice as fast as weight loss injections? Well, if that's not reason enough, you don't risk the scary side effects or gaining the weight back as soon as you stop. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is natural, and it works.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Love Island. Get your questions in for what I need to know. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. What's the best and worst holiday to be born on?
Ask our guy Bones.
Brady has the worst.
Bones is the worst holiday in the world to get born
It's because
on.
it's the best holiday, which is Christmas.
People forget about it. You have to share it.
With Jesus.
It never feels like your own.
Yeah, he is risen.
Nothing's open.
I know. That is the worst holiday to be born on, but also like a wonderful holiday.
Actually, the clubs are still open on Christmas, though. I've
Yeah, but you
partied
know
on
how
Christmas
sad it is to
before.
be there on Christmas?
I'm still
I know if
single.
you're young.
Still single, so I still got to get out there.
Yeah, if you're young, it's fine.
But you also
if you're my age, you catch my old self.
On Christmas Christmas Day.
If I went to a club on Christmas and
6
saw you
p.m.,
bump,
what's
I'd
going
be like,
on?
what did you do to get sent here?
I'm crying inside. Just know that.
Just crying in the club. Like that one gif of that girl that's like,
Yeah.
ooh, just crying.
What's the best holiday to be
A lot of
going
people, like Ashley's on 4th of
July?
July.
4th of July, yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
4th of July for sure.
I'm not on Memorial Day, but it's
I think
been
Memorial
on
Day's
Memorial
fallen
Day
on it in
weekend.
your birthday.
Oh,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah. Like, but
It's not bad.
I like it as an adult because sometimes your birthday, for like 2 years in a row, your birthday will be on a 3-day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
However, we work on Memorial Day typically. We didn't this past year. And when I was younger, as someone who loves attention, I did not like it because I wanted it to be my birthday in class so that everyone could pay attention to me. But you'd have like 4 years in a row where you didn't even have a school day birthday. It's devastating.
My son is born on July 23rd. Doesn't get to celebrate with his classmates.
See, that's sad to me.
Mhm.
That's sad. The positive is when he's older, it's going to be fun to have a summer birthday because he's always going to know, like, it's going to be nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go like Havasu or something, dog.
Yeah. Okay. Inspired by Hype Train, when's the last time any of you actually physically rode a train?
This morning.
Really?
I took the Sounder in today, yeah.
Wow.
It only runs north-south,
Okay.
and I'm coming from the south.
It only makes sense.
Yeah. Right? Not using gas that way, yeah.
I don't remember.
One of those
It's
like
been-
trains in the mall back in the day during Christmas. You know, small ones.
You've never gotten like a tourist train or anything like that?
Nope.
Oh
never
my
been on a
God, you guys,
train.
we should all go ride a train.
We went. We did the Mount Rainier train last year, like last springtime. Took the kids on it.
I don't trust them. Anything
it
that
doesn't
takes
go
a
very
mile to
fast.
stop. All right, anything that takes a mile to stop, I don't trust.
We've
But
got
you
a lot
don't
of rail
need to
workers in our
stop.
family. My uncle drives a tourist train in Northern California.
Doesn't Brenna's family have someone?
Her
who's a conductor?
stepdad drives a train for Union Pacific. Yeah.
There you go.
Shout out to our rail workers.
What I need to know. Let's see. If you could legally own an exotic animal, which would be the best?
Something that's not gonna kill you.
Well,
I think that's what makes them exotic is
Yeah.
that they could kill you.
I think that's the cool factor is in that it could kill you.
None of that. I don't want an exotic animal.
A gator,
Heck no.
a tiger.
Nah.
Okay, what if you were guaranteed your animal wouldn't kill you?
Guaranteed it's not gonna kill me.
Guaranteed it's not going to kill you. Like you could speak to it, or maybe it just listens to you.
You gotta go with one of the big cats.
Right? That's the coolest one.
Or
if
you know
had
what?
a cougar,
Or a gorilla. We could toss the ball around. You know what I'm saying? Like we be
Tell
able
me
to
about your diet.
really do some activities together.
This is so only child coded. I've always just wanted a sibling or a friend. I mean, does it have opposable thumbs?
the most human-like
Yeah, seriously.
animal.
You're like, well, what
Yes.
animal could
Yeah.
I hang out with?
Like you see girls be hugging, they feel emotion. Yeah, it'd be a gorilla. As long as it's not gonna rip me apart.
Oh no,
yeah,
then
for
that is
sure.
such a lonely child. Oh, we could throw the ball around. See, I was thinking like you'd go like a cougar, like a real cougar, because that's kind of cool, you know?
You can't.
It's on brand.
We can do some human
No,
things.
I
Me
love
and a gorilla.
I love the idea of you having an animal that's as close to like we're just gonna hang out.
Look, he
like-
will be tossing a spiral in weeks.
Who could you
Flicking that
teach
thing.
to throw a spiral quicker? A
Don't you
gorilla
dare.
or Stacy?
I will let you know, Jake tried to teach me for months.
I could teach you. Guaranteed.
I could do it eventually. You guys don't have
Guaranteed.
any faith in me. It's not like I don't have hands or eyes. I could figure sports
It's
out.
not that you-
It's my job.
You have those things. It's just getting them to work as one.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never figured out why I can't make my body do things. Like I try to throw balls or maybe run, jump. I just can't do it. 8-6 someone said I want to see Bump playing ball with a gorilla. Oh, it's
Sight to
beautiful.
see.
That's beautiful. 866-979-3776. Were you ever grounded?
Of course.
That's what they want to know.
What?
What'd you get grounded for?
Ooh. Hey. Sneaking a girl in the house.
Whoa. Whoa.
Taking car when I wasn't supposed to.
Wow. That's so much cooler than my life.
Not coming home on time.
Wow.
This is all in the same night, right?
That's all right. Hell of a night.
Wow. I got grounded for, my mom said that me and my best friend couldn't go anywhere or leave the house when she wasn't home. So she was at work and we wanted to walk to 7-Eleven and get candy and then go to the playground.
So innocent.
Yeah. So I got grounded for doing that because we were walking home down 188 in SeaTac, like a main road, one of the two main roads. And she was driving home and saw me.
Got you.
I got caught
Didn't time that up good.
I sure didn't.
Nope.
I sure didn't. So that's what I got. Only time I've ever been grounded.
Really?
Yeah.
Good kid.
Yeah, I am. I was. 866, I still am. 866-979-3776. Who gets a Super Bowl first? Dan Campbell or Dan Quinn?
Campbell. He's going to get it within the next 2 years. He's getting it. Quinn, I got to see it again. Bars. I got to see it again.
Yeah, the Lions just seem like a more put-together team right now. Even though the Commanders made it further, I still think the Lions have a better shot.
This person said, how far can Bumps Gorilla throw a football?
Just clear across those mountains. Clear across those mountains.
I bet if you properly trained it to throw a football,
it can throw at least 150 yards. Humans throw it 70 yards.
Yeah,
if
but
this dude listens to
right
me
mechanics and everything
and pops that elbow back, follow through, thumb down.
150 yards.
150 yards.
That's insane.
Yeah, they can
Is
also
anyone a
rip
gorilla
our bodies
If you
apart.
could teach a gorilla to do that, you wouldn't need a job. You'd just be on like every late night show.
I'm gonna search how far could a gorilla.
Goals.
How far could a gorilla?
Goals.
I got throw a football. There's no way.
150.
AI overview. A gorilla likely couldn't throw a football very far.
Yeah, because AI don't know the mechanics. And AI ain't a teacher the way I am.
Oh, let's see. 866-979-3776.
Why you give them the number now?
Well, because it was
It's
going to go.
over.
I know.
It's over.
We're done. Well, now I'm just lost. I'm just figuring out whether a gorilla has the strength to throw it. 150 yards just seems so far.
Yeah. Humans throw it 70 to 75 yards. They can't double that?
I can't imagine in my brain what it would look like to see a football. At that
You
point,
know why?
At that point,
Because you don't have
limitations
the
of
only child imagination that I have.
You know
That's
how many
why.
friends I had to
Only
imagine
child.
by myself? A whole world of people. Wyman and Bob coming up next.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
It's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
you're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300. gas. You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hello, Seattle. It's your friendly neighbor, the T-Mobile Park roof. From up here, I can see it all. Folks pouring in from the street, the sun setting over the sound, the roar of the crowd as Luis Castillo pumps his fist, and the joy of the J-Rod squad as Julio snares a deep fly ball at the wall.
He reaches up with a leap and he makes the catch.
And all the faces smiling with every perfectly grilled hot dog and swirl of soft serve. When the final out's made, I'll be right up here, lighting the W and soaking it all in. Mariners baseball. Try it inside.
The next Mariners homestand gets started with 3 straight value games against the Royals, Monday, June 30th through Wednesday, July 2nd. Score seats for as little as $11 and enjoy a beautiful summer's night at the ballpark. Go to mariners.com/value games to lock in your seats and check out the complete Mariners value game schedule.
Breaking news for the people of Boomtown. With Xfinity Mobile, the Wi-Fi is booming, at home and on the go.
And an upgrade storm's on the way.
That's right. And with Xfinity Mobile Premium Unlimited, you can upgrade your phone when you want, up to 2 times a year.
Now, once customers catch wind of the guaranteed new device discount, it'll be the biggest upgrade storm in history.
Wow. Let's hear from our weatherman on the scene.
How's it looking out there, Rick?
Well, Bill, the Wi-Fi is still booming.
Now through September 30th, existing Xfinity Internet customers can get an unlimited line included for a year. Plus, ask how to get a free 5G phone. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Unlimited line offer requires Xfinity 300 megabit internet or above. Taxes, fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds vary.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-489-5660. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-489-5660 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security.